Das ist tatsächlich keine Überbrückungsmusik, das ist tatsächlich die Musik vom Titlescreen des Spiels bereits. Ich habe das Spiel gerade im Hintergrund laufen, hatte gerade schon einen Soundtest gemacht, schnell. Denn, wie ich gerade im Chat geschrieben habe, wie ihr vielleicht gesehen habt, ich habe das Spiel gerade vor 5 Minuten runtergeladen, weil ich es irgendwie vergessen habe. Ich dachte, ich hätte das runtergeladen bestimmt. Zum Glück war es nur 1,5 Gigabyte groß, hat also 3 Minuten gedauert. Und das ging dann noch halbwegs. Und ich habe es noch halbwegs pünktlich geschafft vor allem, ne? So war ich schon mal später dran, möchte ich behaupten. Genau, es ist tatsächlich eine Visual Novel, die wir heute spielen. Ich sage spielen, denn, das möchte ich sagen, es ist eine Visual Novel, die ich wahrscheinlich als Spiel werten würde. Ja? Also, ich weiß, es ist eine ewige Diskussion, die wir für immer jetzt bei jeder Visual Novel, die ich hier spiele oder lese, führen müssen. Ich glaube, dass das sollte tatsächlich ein Spiel sein heute. Ich erinnere mich nicht mehr wirklich an, also das kam 2018 raus bei uns im Westen. Ich habe das 2018 mir geholt und habe es auch irgendwie 1-2 Stunden gespielt wohl. Ich erinnere mich an gar nichts mehr. Ich habe keine Ahnung mehr, worum es geht in der Story. Deswegen, ich konnte nicht mal mehr eine Prämisse in die Beschreibung oder so schreiben. Ich erinnere mich an gar nichts. Und es ist halt eine Vision Novel, die ich wahrscheinlich nie wieder von selbst angefasst hätte. Deswegen dachte ich, bietet sich das ganz gut an, wenn ich es noch habe, das vielleicht mal im Stream zu verarbeiten. Ne? Deswegen war es bei der Umfrage dabei. Ist ja eigentlich eine Supporter-Umfrage, wo eigentlich Leute, die mir Geld geben, danke, vielen Dank an die Leute, die mir Geld geben, Spiele vorschlagen dürfen. Das Ding ist, für gewöhnlich kommen mittlerweile nicht mehr genug Spiele zusammen von Leuten, die Supporter sind. Also falls ihr mir gerne Spiele vorschlagen wollt, denkt drüber nach, mir 1 Euro im Monat zu geben, dann könnt ihr euch Spiele wünschen. Also eigentlich ist es ab 5 Euro da, aber wir kriegen eh nicht genug Spiele zusammen, deswegen ab 1 Euro auch gerne. Dürft ihr gerne Spiele vorschlagen. Dann muss ich nämlich keine Spiele vorschlagen, weil das hier ist ein Spiel, was ich vorgeschlagen habe. Und es hat gewonnen. Und aber hey. Ich bin mal gespannt, wie es wird. Es soll auch nicht so lang sein. Es gibt halt verschiedene Enden, je nachdem, was für Entscheidungen wir treffen und so. Und ich möchte auf jeden Fall versuchen, heute, mal gucken, ob es klappt, aber ich würde gerne heute eines der Enden erreichen und dann können wir gucken, je nachdem, wie es uns so gefällt, ob wir dann vielleicht nochmal einen Stream mit weiteren Enden machen wollen oder ob wir es dann dabei belassen und ich euch dann die Empfehlung gebe, es euch selbst zuzulegen, wenn ihr gerne mehr Enden sehen wollt. Das schauen wir dann, je nachdem, wie das heute so ist. Genau, und dann würde ich sagen, bin eh schon spät dabei. Wir gehen einfach mal rüber. So. Perfekt. A Light in the Dark. Jetzt ist der Zeitpunkt passend gewesen, Text. Ja, das ist doch super. Ich habe übrigens Rusted Moss durchgespielt. Rusted Moss kommt morgen die Review. Ich habe sie heute geschrieben. Ich wollte es eigentlich ungeskriptet machen, aber irgendwie hat es nicht funktioniert. Deswegen habe ich jetzt heute doch ein Skript geschrieben. Wird nicht lang, aber wird eine Review. Die kommt morgen. Genau. Ja. War ein gutes Spiel übrigens. Das ist mein Fazit. Erstmal ganz kurz zwischendurch. So. Ich denke mal, Audio passt, sonst hättet ihr euch wahrscheinlich schon beschwert. Ich kann mal eben gucken, ob wir hier noch irgendwas Spannendes machen können. Ich denke mal, wir haben kein Deutsch, sondern nur Chinesisch alternativ. Ja, das ist, glaube ich, beides Chinesisch. Traditionelles und vereinfachtes halt. Kann ich nicht. Ich kann kein Chinesisch. Ich kann nicht mal Japanisch. Manchmal tue ich ein bisschen so, aber nein, kann ich nicht. Hi Shiny, willkommen zum Stream. Auch du. Noch pünktlich geschafft, dank meiner Verspätung. Ja, ich denke, hier ist nichts sonderlich Spannendes. Nein, achso, nein, ich will nur zurück. Danke. Gallery. 3 mal 5, das sind ja 15 Bilder. Mathe kann ich. Und 12 Tracks. So, haben wir das schon mal gespoilert? Okay, wir gehen jetzt rein, ist in Ordnung. Ist in Ordnung. Life is truly unfair, don't you think? There was a saying, the world is one big, intricate machine. The people as its cogs and the laws as its screws. The countless pieces connect with each other in order to operate. Through continuous refining on top of repeated collapse and reconstruction, modern society is eventually formed. Snail, yeah. The more complicated the machine appears to be, the more delicate it really is. One loose screw would stop the whole thing. One failed detail will lead to collapse. Therefore, we must be ever vigilant and watchful and remove every single problematic piece. Mommy needs to head out and take care of something, so have dinner without me. You can eat whatever you like. If Daddy calls, just tell her I'm in a class, okay? The laughter of an unknown man, hurried footsteps and the sound of an engine starting. Sie geht nur kurz Zigaretten kaufen, ja, ja. It was at that moment I heard the sound of dissonance from the machine. It was very cold. I felt a freezing chill as I regained my consciousness. It wasn't so much that I felt cold when I awoke, but that an icy draft had caused me to wake up. As I opened my eyes, they were met by darkness. All I could make out was that I was in some sort of small room. This place was unknown to me. It wasn't my room, nor was it a hotel room. My head hurt as if I had a hangover. I tried to stand up in order to find some sort of light switch, but all I felt from my legs was numbness. The smell of cigarettes and mold in the air was nauseating, and I fought to regain my bearings. I realized that something was not quite right. What happened to me? A sense of unease overcame me. I tried to calm down and organize my thoughts. Ich habe auch wirklich eine Tendenz dazu, Visual Novels anzufangen, wo man am Anfang irgendwo aufwacht und nicht weiß, wo man ist, ha? Ist einfach so mein Ding. Tut mir leid. I recalled that I was on my way home from cram school. Finally up, rich boy. An unfamiliar voice rang in my ears right when I opened my mouth to ask. Und wir verlieren Stamina oben rechts in der Ecke. Also ja, wie gesagt, ich glaube, das ist ein Videospiel. Quasi. Wir werden Entscheidungen treffen, die tatsächlich ja, Auswirkungen auf Stats und sowas haben. Mal gucken, wie genau. Ganz schön viel Woke-Mist. Also mein Kanal ist der wokeste Mist, den du auf YouTube findest. Vielleicht nicht ganz. Aber schon ziemlich nah dran, der wokeste Mist zu sein, den du auf diesem YouTube findest. Deswegen das vielleicht so als Anmerkung, ja. Hatte ich letztens auch einen Kommentar unter dem Fata Morgana Video. Da hat sich jemand beschwert, dass die GamePro schlimmer woker Mist ist. Und ich so, Junge, that's me. Ja, Gameplay, I know. Crazy, huh? Ist es kein Murder Mystery? Ich weiß es noch nicht. Ich weiß tatsächlich noch nicht, was es ist, to be honest. Out of nowhere, a foot swiftly sunk itself into my stomach, launching me toward the wall. Boah, Husten. I felt my stomach turned, I almost vomited. However, all that came out was a dry fit of coughing. Couldn't stop spasming on the ground. All that was on my mind was the intense pain. Yet I was also too scared to make any sound. Countless questions went through my mind. Before I could speak, I heard that cold voice again. Who gave you permission to talk? There was no change in her expression as she watched me struggle. There was nothing but a look of pure animosity in her eyes. You better keep your mouth shut. I don't have the patience nor intention to play nice of you. Got that? I struggled to stand up, then came to the shocking realization that my limbs weren't numb. They were tightly tied up with rope. I struggled against it, but the rope was far tighter than I imagined. Wir sterben aber schon, bevor wir die erste Entscheidung haben. Vielleicht gibt es gar keine Gameplay und wir sterben einfach. Das ist einfach die Progression der Story. Rich boy, do you understand the words coming out of my mouth, or do you only respond for a good beating? Bitch. Another kick made me almost scream and curse at her. However, knowing now was not the time to confront her, I grit my teeth to force myself to stay calm. Anything I said at that moment could be fatal. I had to grasp the situation first. Shiny. Droha ist doch nicht mal da. Müssen wir denn immer andere Leuten den Job von Droha übernehmen lassen? Kann doch nicht wahr sein hier. Stimmt, auf der anderen Seite, der Autoexperte ist damit auch nicht da, ne? Na gut, das dürft ihr noch machen. Ihr dürft mir gerne sagen, wenn der Sound nicht passt, wie gesagt. Suddenly she got closer, not realizing her intention. My body instinctively tried to move away from her touch. Huh. Scared? Noticing my slight reaction, she gave a snort of contempt. The last shred of defiance disappeared as soon as the blade touched my body. There was no chance of victory, no matter how I resisted. Waited for her next move. All I could hear in the quiet room was a shallow breathing. The tip of the blade moved across my skin, making a small cut. My tensed up nerves were extra sensitive, detecting the exact temperature of the air, the crudeness of the rope, and the sharpness of the blade. There was a certain feeling of warmth from the blood that flowed out from the wound and down my arm. Nevertheless, my mind was extremely clear. Kidnapping, human trafficking, organ trade. A few possibilities came to mind, but there was no way to determine which. Naja, wir sind anscheinend ja reich, also halte ich es für sehr wahrscheinlich, dass sie irgendwie unsere Eltern erpressen will oder so, ne? Das wäre so das Offensichtlichste. Since we have to hang out a little before I get the ransom, let me make a few things clear. Don't try to run or talk without permission. I don't mind breaking a few bones. Humans can handle a few just fine after all. You hear me? I nodded quietly. I couldn't digest all the information at once, but one key word stood out. Ransom! Who would have thought? Am I right? The blade left my skin, and I swore I heard a little sigh escape from her. There was a sound of light footsteps moving towards the wall. Before I could even feel confused, a glaring light broke through the darkness of the room. A light in the dark, könnte man sagen, huh? Not able to adjust to the sudden brightness, it took me quite a while to finally open my eyes. What came into view was totally foreign to me. The room was roughly 300 square feet in size. The wall that was meant for painting was now mottled, its original color no longer visible. Time had its way with the room, causing everything to become decayed. Be it the wooden chair, desk, or bed, the resulting smell of mold in the air was reminiscent of ruins you'd find in a movie. The owner of this place stood near the window with a taunting smirk on her lips. Und erstmal, ich mag den Artstyle sehr gerne, also einfach die... Ja... Ich kann keine Artstyles beschreiben, aber ich mag das. So, Ja. Fühlt sich sehr gemalt an, okay? Fühlt sich nicht sehr digital an. Es ist natürlich digital, aber es fühlt sich trotzdem so an, als könnte es gemalt sein mit physischen Farben. Ich glaube, das ist die beste Beschreibung. Das ist am nächsten, wie ich an Stilbeschreibungen drankomme gerade. Never lived in a place like this, did you, rich boy? The words were clearly provocative, bearing the burning pain. I tried to observe her through the lamplight. Es ist eine Visual Novel, tatsächlich. Ich kenne Troubleshooter aber nicht. She was a young-looking woman. She wore a dark overcoat and a scarf, her shoulder-length hair casually scattered behind her back, with bangs almost covering her eyes. Surprisingly, she wore no face mask or helmet, nor made any attempt to avoid my staring. She didn't seem to mind her face being seen. Auch mal was Gutes für, wie gesagt, Stories, in denen man einfach so in Räumen aufwacht, ohne zu wissen, warum. Für gewöhnlich wird es ja noch ein bisschen geheim gehalten, wer einen gefangen genommen hat. Offensichtlich ist das hier kein großes Geheimnis, immerhin mal. Ich glaube, es gibt auch nur uns zwei Charaktere. Da bin ich mir nicht ganz sicher, wobei wir hatten noch ein anderes Mädchen auf dem Titlescreen, oder? Dann gibt es vielleicht 3 Charaktere. Mal sehen. She didn't have the stereotypical look of a criminal, despite a hint of unease on her meager face. There was an ounce of guilt within those dark brown pupils of hers that stared straight at me. Was ist denn das stereotypical look of a criminal? Ist das Problem, dass sie weiß ist? Oder was möchtest du damit sagen, huh? Also wirklich. You know what? I hate people like you. She was talking to herself, ignoring how pale my face was and making no attempt to elaborate. Bitch Boy passt auch gut. Bitch Boy passt auch ganz. Ist auch nicht verkehrt, glaube ich. There was not a conversation, but a simple declaration. Who was she? Where was I? What did she want? Why did she do such a thing? Ich glaube, sie will Geld. Das ist meine weit hergeholte Vermutung. Countless questions circled around my brain, but not a single sound came out of my mouth when I opened it. What did eventually come out was something totally unrelated. Why me? The unfamiliar, weil wir Geld haben. The unfamiliar dry voice sounded like some rough sandpaper. Why? The girl mumbled my question next to the window. The light reflected off the girl's face, orange spots of light scattered across her messy hair, dancing like fire. She hung her head in contemplation. Took her a while to raise her head again with a grin. No particular reason. As though it was only natural. The empty voice had no emotions, but instead a malevolent sense of pleasure. The world is just unfair, yeah? Life is simply unfair. Isn't that your favorite line? Das ist meine Lieblingszeile. How did you know? Life is simply unfair ist mein Lieblingsteil. Ein bisschen falsch zitiert, aber wir sind nah dran, okay? Seeing the shock in my eyes, she chuckled. With that mocking statement, the curtain was raised for this kidnapping incident. Aber how did she know, huh? How did she know, indeed? Day one. Oh, okay, ich kann nicht speichern und das mache ich doch direkt. Day one, kidnapping. I stood in a world of darkness. There was no sky or ground, only endless darkness. A dream. I realized amidst all the fuzziness that I was in a dream, yet I couldn't control my thoughts. The intermittent noise was annoying, like a radio with poor signal. Suddenly, the ground began to slowly sink as if it were quicksand. I had to remove my legs, but realized I couldn't move. My heels, my knees, and then my arms. The darkness gradually devoured my body. I had that vivid disdain before my vision was overtaken. I hate people like you. That's what she said, indeed. Kein Joke intended, so zur Abwechslung. Tag 1 am Morgen. Okay, what time is it now? I couldn't tell the time. Ja, das ist irgendwie morgens. Und da sehen wir unser Stamina und, oh Gott, Gameplay vielleicht. I needed to escape, and tying the rope was my only option. The only exits were the door and the window. Was there really nowhere else? Ich meine, sollte es noch mehr Ausgänge geben? Reicht das nicht erstmal? Oder willst du einen Geheimgang finden im Boden oder so? I should try to converse with her. A better relationship could be beneficial. Maiden. Auch eine gute Beschreibung. Girl with long hair and sharp eyes. She didn't seem to be older than 30. Older than 30? Sieht die aus, als wäre sie älter als 20, aber gut, anime, am I right? Her pale skin didn't appear to be healthy, and she wore a clearly outdated overcoat and scarf. Still didn't know who she was. If only I could get her name at least. Why did she pick me as the target? Maiden. Bei der kann ich leveln und so. Bei der kann ich meine Seelen ausgeben. Still half asleep, I opened my eyes. The room before me was still the same unfamiliar one. So it wasn't a dream. A long sigh couldn't relieve the depression in my chest, and my heart sunk to the pit of my chest. My chest. Bisher war das Writing gut, aber das ist keine gute Zeile. My chest geht nicht. Das kannst du nicht machen. Das geht doch nicht. Immer nur am Meckern, ich weiß. What was the objective? What should I do? Rabbi Ribby. Er hat wohl mal ein Weep gelebt. Das ist sehr gutes Environmental Storytelling. Wenigstens keine Teenager, ja, also von der Seite aus sehe ich es positiv auf jeden Fall. Mal ansatzweise ältere Charaktere zu haben. Wobei, ich bin ja wahrscheinlich Teenager. Ich habe ja anscheinend noch bei meinen, muss nicht heißen, also ich habe auf jeden Fall noch bei meinen Eltern gelebt, ist der Punkt. Ne? Zumindest habe ich das jetzt so verstanden und ich meine, wen sollte sich auch sonst, wie heißt es denn, was heißt denn Ransom auf Deutsch? Das Geld, was ich jedenfalls haben will, wird sie wohl von meinen Eltern haben wollen. How's my VN going? Meine VN, wird existieren, ne? Die geht voran, da passieren Sachen. Da gibt es keine Zahlen, in denen zweimal derselbe Begriff direkt hintereinander vorkommt, glaube ich. Und wenn, dann ist es Absicht, dann ist es ein Stilmittel. Genau. It's been said that in the presence of the threat, you either became petrified, try to flee or try to fight. Ja, tatsächlich fällt mir aus dem Kopf gerade nur eine Zeile an, wo auf jeden Fall zweimal dasselbe Wort, also derselbe Begriff vorkommt. Es kommt oft mal dasselbe Wort vor, wenn es keine relevanten Wörter sind, ne, aber genau. Da fällt mir gerade eine Zeile an und da ist es auf jeden Fall Absicht. Das ist Absicht. Was meinst du mit, wo ist denn they? Wo war denn they? Wie lange ist es bitte her, dass irgendwo they gesagt wurde? Lösegeld könnte tatsächlich das richtige Wort sein. Oder warte mal, ist das hier Speichern oder ist das. Achso, das ist der Backlog und das hier? Ah, Maiden oder ist hier irgendwo they? Nö. Ach so. Ja, ne? Vielleicht geht er davon aus, dass sie uns nicht alleine gekidnappt hat. Weiß nicht. Dass sie irgendwie in einer Gruppe arbeiten. Vielleicht ist das einfach eine Annahme, die sie vielleicht bestätigen wird. Weil, wie gesagt, es waren 2 Charaktere auf dem Title Screen und ich glaube, keiner davon waren wir. Ich weiß, aber ich habe den Teilscreen gerade nicht gut im Kopf. Ich hätte mir länger angucken können. Vielleicht hätte ich das, wenn ich das Thumbnail selbst gemalt hätte. Habe ich aber heute nicht. Reflexively stopping your actions to avoid catching predators' attention was probably the best way to describe how I felt. I tried to pull the rope, but nothing happened. The headache was hard to bear. The pain medication I usually kept on me was on my back, which was out of reach in my current state. Damn it. Ach, dann waren das die Tabletten wahrscheinlich, die in dem Zwischenscreen, auf dem Kapitelscreen, wo wir speichern konnten und so. Da lagen so Tabletten auf dem Tisch, die liegen hier noch nicht. Das heißt, das sind wahrscheinlich die. My mind did get clearer after sleeping. Everything that happened yesterday still felt like a dream, but the reality of it was right before my eyes. Es ist natürlich schön, wenn man eine ganze Visual Novel hat, die wahrscheinlich nur in einem Raum spielen wird. Dann kann man sich schön viel Mühe geben, diesen einen Raum wirklich, wirklich gut auszugestalten. Der ist auch wirklich hübsch, der Hintergrund. Der Hintergrund ist richtig gut. Ich gehe halt wirklich davon aus, dass es der einzige Hintergrund ist. Morning light brightened up the room. I could see the peeling paint on the wall and the old piece of furniture. There's nothing but decay, as though it was untouched for a long time. It was an abandoned, empty house. Or did they actually live here? Okay, ja doch, du hast vollkommen recht. The kidnapper was nowhere to be found. I couldn't hear anything and thus couldn't tell how many people were around. Perhaps shouting for help might catch someone's attention, but the kidnapper might be also right outside of the door. Oh Gott, wir contemplaten erstmal die Situation, würde ich sagen. Let's contemplate the situation. Ich weiß, ja, habe ich gesagt. My yelling might not be heard, and I could be in trouble if it got the kidnapper's attention instead. I could still feel the pain from where I got kicked the day before. I tried to make myself a little more comfortable and relax my back by leaning on the wall. Ich meine, wenn sie ein bisschen klug gewesen wäre, hätte sie natürlich auch meinen Mund verbunden, ne? Aber so, dass ich nicht schreien kann. Aber zumindest nicht so leicht, I guess. My hands were tied up to the point that I had no space to move around, let alone release the rope. My body overall was fine, but I couldn't really rest in this position. There's my energy to escape. So where to start? Naja, vielleicht bringt mir Schreien auch nicht wirklich viel. What time is it? Yeah, morning. Speaking of time, it was currently... The clock on the wall pointed to 5:54 a.m. Cram school ended at 9:30 p.m., so I was probably getting around 10 p.m. I was asleep for maybe 7 hours, enough time to drive from Taipei to Kaohsiung. I didn't know how long I'd been out. It might have been a whole day. How long could the medicine be effective? No longer than a day, right? If the medicine was really that potent, there should also be some strong side effects. Yet my body only felt like it had taken a nap. Ja gut, aber dann könnte sie ja immer noch unseren Mund wieder freimachen, wenn sie mit uns reden will. Sie ist ja gerade gar nicht hier. Also es wäre ja klug gewesen, das zumindest zu machen, bevor sie geht. Und so, genau. Aber vielleicht ist es auch gar nicht so relevant. Vielleicht weiß sie, dass es sowieso nichts bringt, wenn ich nach Hilfe rufe. Before I could think further, I heard footsteps outside. I couldn't help but tense up. Who was that? So viele Möglichkeiten gibt es ja nicht, ne? Before I made up my mind on how to respond, I saw the girl pushing open the door. Mit einem Messer in der Hand. Holding the knife and wearing the same overcoat and scarf, she stared at me. I tried to look back calmly, but I could still clearly feel my rapid heartbeat. Finally up, rich boy. I looked at her silently, trying to guess her intention from her words and actions. Ja, genau, Styles, das wäre halt eine Möglichkeit. Ne? Oder wenn es halt wirklich mehrere Leute sind, die hier zusammenarbeiten und irgendwie Leute kidnappen, dann kann es auch einfach sein, dass alle Leute, die hier in der Gegend leben, einfach Kidnapper sind. Und Verbrecher und so. Keine Ahnung. I was in an unfamiliar situation and there were too many questions still unanswered. The location at the time, the objectives, any sort of information would help. You're free once your daddy pays up, so stay quiet. Otherwise, I can't guarantee what'll happen to you. Deswegen, vielleicht besser, wenn wir nicht schreien. After she told that to me, she sat next to the window and lit a cigarette. It was easier to see her face in the sunlight. Her neglected long hair was messy, and her long bangs almost blocked her vision. Her pale skin wasn't makeup, more like something she was born with, or the result of poor health. Maybe drug abuse. Maybe all of the above. Hey. The girl's voice broke my train of thought. She stared coldly at me with the cigarette still in her hand. I'll make a few things clear. When I contact your dad, don't talk, don't move, don't have any funny ideas. This is not a game. Okay, never mind, wir haben es geklärt, das ist doch nur eine Visual Novel, das ist kein Spiel. I don't have the patience, and don't mind shutting you up by breaking one or two bones. Adjusting her every word, I point out what to say. Got it. Ich bin aktuell sehr passiv. Ich weiß nicht, ob das die beste Idee ist, aber das ist wahrscheinlich, wie ich reagieren würde. Sehr, sehr passiv. I'll play by your rules. Still assessing the best way to deal with her. I should avoid triggering her for my own safety. You better. I'm free once you get the money, right? What do you think? I'm not sure. A nonchalant answer proved my guess. Not that her assent meant anything. If a kidnapper's promise actually meant anything, then even world peace wouldn't be a pipe dream. Oh, Chen Yang, age 18, only son of CEO Hua Jing. Ich weiß nicht, wie man chinesische Namen übrigens ausspricht. So, I'm sorry. Very sorry. Ich habe keine Ahnung. Address is Chongcheng Road, Lane 2. Living by himself, buying breakfast at 10 a.m. every day, jogging at the park at 8 p.m. Ja, okay, sie hat uns wohl schon eine Weile beobachtet, um die perfekte Gelegenheit zu finden und mitzunehmen. Cram school every Tuesday and Thursday, which ends at 9:30 p.m. Always takes the shortcut at the walkway under construction. She lazily read my information and from time to time paused to look at me, as though anticipating something. Eine schockierte Reaktion, quite comprehensive. Huh. She grunted after noticing my lack of reaction. Ganz schön enttäuscht. Leaking personal information wasn't new, but it was still uncomfortable to hear someone knowing your daily routine like they knew their own garage. If she knew that much about me, did that mean an acquaintance of mine was behind all this? Best attempts to remember still failed. Hard to believe she had any reason to pick me. No one but my parents and the building security knew my schedule, and none of them could be the leaker. Ja, vielleicht hat sie dich einfach beobachtet. Ich meine, man sieht ja, wann du das Haus verlässt und wann du rumläufst und so. Ich will vor allem immer Frühstück. Also, wenn ich jeden Tag mal frühstücken würde, das wäre ja schon was, ne? Skippe ich meistens. First things first. You don't have to keep my feet tied up, you know? Aber sie könnte es tun. I have no intention of running. Even if you don't believe me, my hands are still tied. Ja, und du könntest ja, also... I mean, I don't know about that. Also, you have a knife. I couldn't run away like this, even if I wanted to. Doch, könntest du trotzdem. Also, Knife ist jetzt kein Insta-Kill. Du bist ein starker Mann. Weiß ich nicht, vielleicht. It's really uncomfortable being tied up like this, and it's just I told you before. She interrupted me. She squatted before me and looked me right in the eye. I hate people like you. Having too much money to spend, never tasting any pain, and everything just goes your way. You know nothing, it's still almighty like some big shot. Uncomfortable? You think I care? Let's make you more uncomfortable, I say. Ja, das wäre nämlich auch meine Reaktion in ihrer Situation. Möchte ich behaupten. What a messed up personality. I felt animosity, but didn't want to explain it to her. Too many people found society to be unfair, always blaming their failures on someone else, thinking they were victims of the system. It was that easy to convince her. She wouldn't have kidnapped someone in the first place. Got nothing left to say now? Noticing my silence, she tried to provoke me. What are you talking about? I knew I shouldn't try to argue with her, but I couldn't stop myself. I couldn't tolerate such an extreme take on things. If I let her keep going, she might think she was onto something. I don't know anything about you, yet you think you know everything about me? Always went straight for the fallacy of her logic. I couldn't help but laugh. If you just want to take it out on someone, say it. Stop making it sound like everyone owes you. Schickst du mir ins Gesicht? Ja, okay. Das war. Guck mal, ich sollte vielleicht nett sein. Nett sein wäre eine gute Idee. Sonst, ich werde sterben. Shut up. Kick of full force narrowly missed me. I guess in pain and anticipation. You're all the same. What else can I do except babbling? Nothing, am I right? I smirked in despise, staring at her face with anger. Note update. Ah, warte, meine Notes. Ich muss lesen. Was sagt ihr Neues? Her animosity against rich people made it impossible to communicate with her. Ja, wie wär's, wenn du versuchen würdest, nicht mehr reich zu sein? Ich glaube, das klingt nach einem guten Plan. Wäre vielleicht besser. Kill the rich. Action mode. Here you can choose various actions. When your action points reach 0, the next phase will begin. Talk to the kidnapper. Look at the items in the room. Rest to restore stamina. Ah. Okay. Ich reste. Okay. Das soll erstmal reichen. Wir sind wieder im blauen Bereich. Ich meine, ja. Kapitalismus als Ursprung des Problems, würde ich auch so sagen. Würde ich so sagen. Chatten wir ein bisschen, ja? Mhm. Click on one of the topics. This will change as you progress through the story. Wir haben ja als Auswahl Older Girl. Mit anderen Worten, es wird wohl irgendwann mal mehr Sachen zur Auswahl geben. Offensichtlich, ne? Also ja, zumindest ein zweiter Charakter kommt wohl noch dazu. Younger Girl dann vielleicht halt, ne? Fragen wir mal nach dem Namen. What's your name? The girl was staring at her phone and didn't hear my question, so I repeated it. Hyung Ye. She carelessly said 2 syllables before suddenly shutting up. She raised her head and looked at me cautiously. Say again? Secretly remained the partial answer. Remembered the partial answer, but acted as though I heard nothing. I think I'll tell you just so you can call the cops later. How should I address you then? Hearing my response, she burst into laughter. How to address me? Are you out of your mind? You can address me any way you want. I'm not here to make friends. Kann man ändern, ne? Kann man ändern. Aber gut, wir kennen ihn immer noch nicht, aber wir wissen, dass sie, So, last name was Hyung, but I still had no recollection of her. Ja, warum auch, ne? Oder stellt sich irgendwann heraus, dass wir uns früher einmal kannten. In unserer Kindheit. Wobei sie ja scheinbar älter ist als ich, also heißt es nicht viel. Das ergibt nicht so viel Sinn vielleicht. Na, aber was kann man mit einem Gesicht wirklich anfangen? Seien wir mal ehrlich, was kann man schon mit einem Gesicht anfangen? Ich könnte kein Gesicht beschreiben. Ich könnte nicht sagen, wie sie aussieht, irgendjemandem. Also, zumindest könnte ich sie nicht so genau beschreiben, dass man sie hinterher davon ausgehend findet. Vor allem, wenn sie ja sowieso wahrscheinlich abseits der regulären Gesellschaft halbwegs lebt und so. I don't know. Ich glaube, mit dem Gesicht können wir nicht so viel anfangen. Was möchtest du? Are you an idiot? I am. Money, of course. Do you think I enjoy kidnapping people? Oh, maybe. Maybe it could be your hobby. She grunted in disdain, then her mouth broke into a naughty smirk. Of course, teaching you a type of lesson feels good too. See? Otherwise, you would think the whole world revolves around you. Her words were still aggressive. I still had no idea why she was so mad. Everything else aside, just the fact I didn't even know her in person made it bizarre that she had such a grudge. So what happens after you get the money? Wir machen diese getimten Entscheidungen immer ein bisschen Angst, machen mich ein bisschen nervös, aber ich glaube, das passt sehr gut zu der Situation hier. Eigentlich ergibt es allgemeinen Sinn, wenn man getimte Entscheidungen hat. Sie sind halt oft unnötig, weil man dann den letzten Spielstand auch mal laden kann, wenn man nicht zufrieden ist, aber ich finde, es passt halt gut ins Spiel rein, weil wir hier dann zumindest Leben verlieren, wenn wir das Falsche wählen und so, und es ist ja jetzt bisher nicht sonderlich schwer, das Richtige zu wählen eigentlich. Wenn man muss aber nett sein. Das ist bisher das, was man tun sollte. Was ich mehr tun sollte. They ask for more, escape abroad. And most importantly, do they intend to let me go? What do you think? She raised the corner of her mouth and returned the question. An uncommittal smile was creepy. That's none of your business anyway. You just pray that he pays up soon. That amount is nothing to you, right? Bringing this up covered my mind in shadow, but I couldn't do anything about it. I wasn't sure how much time had passed, and I had grown hungry. My head still hurt a little, and my tied-up limbs only made me moody. She just sat there, staring at her phone. She kept dialing some numbers with an anxious expression. Why don't you eat something? Not hungry. Did you already eat this morning? Just cut to the chase and stop beating around the bush, will you? She replied coldly, staring at me with a certain annoyance. I wanna go home. I think that's funny. She showed me no appreciation of my direct response or my sense of humor. Your money, right? How much? None of your business. Ich meine, mein Vater wird es ja offensichtlich herausfinden, also ich weiß nicht, warum du es von mir geheim halten willst unbedingt. Tried to negotiate with her, but she just looked even more annoyed. Don't let me go now, all my money is yours. All the cash on me and in my bank account. That should work, right? I'll say nothing and pretend this never happened. I live by myself anyway, no one will suspect it. Okay, wir leben gar nicht bei unserem Vater. Ich dachte, wir leben noch bei unserem Vater. Dann sind wir vielleicht doch schon älter, dann sind wir vielleicht doch in ihrem Alter ungefähr. Das heißt, wir können uns wirklich irgendwie aus unserer Kindheit kennen. Maybe. Das wäre auf jeden Fall eine Plotentwicklung, die man haben könnte, ne? Die existieren könnte. Shut up. Think I'm a fool? Why should I believe you? You think you can talk your way out of this? Just shut up and wait for your daddy to pay. She snorted and showed no interest in my proposal. What if he won't? He will. She interrupted me, raising her eyebrow in response. You'll be in real trouble if he doesn't. Haha. I realized the implication. My dry chuckle felt bitter. She had a point. I would be in trouble without the ransom. I suppressed my worry, knowing it was not the time to panic. My priorities were collecting as much information as possible, replenishing my stamina, and finding a chance to escape. Can I have something to eat or drink? I haven't eaten anything since yesterday. Oh. The rich boy's already hungry after skipping one meal. True, ne? Ist sie wahrscheinlich gewohnt. Yep. I admitted without hesitation. Hunger was real and there was nothing impressive about hiding that. She couldn't retort, so she poured me a glass of water from the bottle after a grunt. I can't grab it unless you untie me. Just lick it like a dog. Tried to convince her to loosen up the rope, but she had no intention of doing so. Ach, willst du hinbekommen? Drink. Wie der Hund, der du bist. Then please hold it still. Seriously? Noticing I would do as she suggested, she sounded surprised. Wasn't it your idea? If you don't want to, you can just feed me yourself. By breaking a sweat, I replied coldly. For I was not edible, and I had to keep my strength. Why you? I was used to it. If someone wanted to insult me or enrage me, just accept it plainly. People are like cats, they don't show interest in toys that don't struggle. Es klingelt. Naja, so ist es im Leben, ne? Don't move. No longer composed, she moved closer to me with water in her hand. What are you? I was pressed to the wall without finishing my sentence. She bent my head and forced the water down my throat like some sort of torture. Hey, du hast es ihr vorgeschlagen, genau das zu tun. Sie ist dem nur nachgekommen, okay? Ich finde schön, dass es das Spiel exklusiv Hust-Sounds hat. Want some more? She raised her eyebrows, smiling victoriously. Screw you. I couldn't say anything while choking. The spilled water soaked my clothes, making me tremble in this cold weather. That was straightforward and violent, but at least I can rest a little after drinking some water. Ja, immerhin. Hat es unser Stamina irgendwie gefüllt? Weiß ich nicht. Hat es das? Ich glaube ein bisschen vielleicht. The cell phone on the table started vibrating. She stole a glance at me with pursed lips after seeing the number. People had small gestures when they were under pressure, like pursing lips, flipping hair, and biting nails. The person in question might not be aware of it, but one's body language revealed his or her true emotions. Stay here, don't you dare make a sound. Even with that threat, she walked out through the door of the phone. The door closed shut, I vaguely heard the conversation outside, but I was not able to figure out the exact content. Was it an accomplice? There would be even less of a chance to escape if there were more of them. Ich meine, warum sollte sie es nicht alleine geschafft haben, wenn sie mein Schedule kennt, wenn sie mich aus dem Hinterhalt angegriffen hat, K.O. geschlagen hat? Keine Ahnung, wie sie mich transportiert hat. Vielleicht hatte sie, ich weiß nicht, ob sie ein Auto hat. Eigentlich unwahrscheinlich. Sie wirkt, also, ich kann halt nicht einschätzen, wie wenig Geld sie hat, ne? Entsprechend hat sie ein Auto? Weil irgendwie muss ich mich ja transportiert haben, ohne dass es jemand gesehen hat. Und ohne Fahrzeug stelle ich mir das schwer vor, irgendwie einen Körper zu transportieren. Unbemerkt. A sight toward the sky, as though mocking my effort, every undesirable outcome had occurred. If there was only her, then I'd rest as much as possible. There might be a chance to escape when she wasn't careful. The door wasn't the only exit. I might even be able to jump out of the window if I could free myself from the ropes. Locations, head counts, weapons. Too many uncertainties that allow how to untie this damn rope. It was more practical to figure something out on my own than to wait for rescue. Would have been ideal if I could persuade her to let me go. Absolutely could not trigger her before I was prepared. At the very least, I should get her to drop her guard to facilitate my escape. After that, I will play it by ear. Let's try to find something useful when she's not around. Okay, jetzt können wir ein bisschen observen, nämlich, okay? Observation Mode. Click on the icon to return to the previous page. Click on the icon to change view, genau. When the cursor changes to the eye icon, you can look at certain objects by clicking on it. Genau, wir haben, okay, ich gebe zu, wir haben 2 Backgrounds. Vielleicht kriegen wir, wenn wir irgendwann mal doch entfesselt sein sollten, sogar noch einen dritten Background für hinter uns oder so. Ich weiß es noch nicht, aber ja. Zumindest gibt es mehr als einen Background, genau genommen. Wobei es eher 1,5 Backgrounds sind. Ja, deswegen sage ich ja, sie müsste halt ein Auto haben, ne? Oder so, um mich in den Kofferraum oder so zu werfen. Dann kann sie mich unauffällig transportieren. Von da aus, weil sie meint ja, dass ich irgendwie eine Abkürzung genommen habe, immer unter irgendeiner Baustelle her oder sowas. Genau. Da war dann vielleicht eine dunkle Ecke. Da hat es dann vielleicht niemand bemerkt. Und wenn sie mich dann in den Kofferraum wirft, dann ja, sure. Das klingt machbar. Aber bräuchte sie halt ein Fahrzeug. Und ich kann nicht einschätzen, ob sie sich ein Fahrzeug leisten kann. Ja, vielleicht geklaut. I don't know. It is a wooden wardrobe closet of a certain age with a nasty moldy smell. The ravages of time really mess up the door, as though one kick would totally shatter it. Ich weiß nicht, warum ich mir das angeguckt habe, to be honest. Ich kann mir den Tisch angucken, da liegen halt zumindest ein paar Sachen drauf und so. Der Rucksack ist meiner, das weiß ich. Mich interessiert auch sehr das Poster da hinten. Persönliches Interesse. The yellowing paper reveals Sons of Age. It seems to be some popular video game from the past. That isn't really plausible. Oh, warum ist das eine Notiz? Was? Achso, kann ich mir nicht angucken gerade. Aber gleich. It is a rectangular wooden desk. The rough, unprocessed surface has sawdust all over it. Looks like it's well worn with time. I wouldn't want to pick it up, even if I found it at the recycling center. Du hast eigentlich nur den Tisch angeguckt, nicht die Sachen, die da drauf liegen? Ich dachte, du liegst so. Okay. Toll. Hab auf den Tisch angeguckt. Wir wissen, dass der Tisch jetzt viereckig ist und aus Holz. Genie. The video game poster on the wall has turned yellow. Was the former resident a video game nerd? Das ist eine relevante Information auf jeden Fall für die Situation hier. Dass hier mal ein Nerd gelebt hat vorher. Vielleicht hat sie den ermordet. I don't know. Oder vielleicht hat sie hier gelebt früher. Und als sie noch mehr Geld hatte. Und jetzt hat sie kein Geld mehr. I don't know. Deswegen ist es jetzt so runtergekommen. Ja, klingt unwahrscheinlich. Ich glaube, das war schon vorher runtergekommen, bevor sie hingekommen ist. Das klingt realistischer. Sunlight shone through the window at a certain angle, adding some dynamism to the dark room. Even the moldy smell seemed to be much fainter. Damn it. The girl walked back and forth in the room, anxiety clear on her face. What's wrong? Your dad doesn't believe you're with us. What an idiot. Why not let me talk to him? Ich fand das eine gute Idee. Ich wollte nur sagen, dass ich dann ihm sagen kann, dass ich hier bin. Und dass er mir dann glaubt, vielleicht, wenn er meine Stimme hört und so. Aber na gut. Shut up. Who do you think you are? Did I ask you for your opinion? Triggering her sensitive nerve, she threw me another kick. I just think it might be more effective. No one cares what you think. Shut up and wait for the ransom. Got it? What's so funny? You think I won't lay a finger on you? She frowned upon hearing my laughter and then took out her weapon threateningly. Wie kommst du darauf, dass es mehrere Kidnapper sind? Jetzt gerade frage ich mich. Also ich meine, ich habe die Vermutung auch, dass sie das nicht alleine macht. Wahrscheinlich, vielleicht. Aber ich weiß nicht, worauf du es gerade liest. No, it's just that I am not that important to him. What do you mean? Noticing how old my statement was, she raised her eyebrow and followed up. I haven't contacted my family for a long time. Our relationship isn't as close as you might think. Ever since I got kidnapped, I've been wondering if I should tell her that or not. I was a poor choice for a hostage. Maybe she would let me go or silence me instead. However, it was only a matter of time before she found out, so I might as well have been transparent here. Ah, with us. Good point. Guter Punkt. Oder vielleicht meinte sie mit... Ja, okay. Doch, doch. Das ist, also wenn das nicht schlecht, einfach nur schlechte Übersetzung ist, dann ist es richtig. Da hast du vollkommen recht. Why, rebellious face or something? He's self-centered or maybe just a workaholic? A complicated family relationship was hard to explain in a few words. I was deciding how to piece my sentence together to answer a question. He spends half a year abroad and never cares about the family. He'll work till midnight even when he's back in Taiwan. I don't see him that often on holidays. It's always about the company, it's all for the stockholders and employees, blah blah blah. In my opinion, it's all for his own ego. Whether it was my graduation, birthday, even car accident. Autounfall. He never showed up, not even a single damn call. Clearly his job is far more important than me. You probably wouldn't even know about the accident if not for the hospital calling an emergency contact. Willkommen zurück. Du hast verpasst, wir sind gekidnappt worden. Wann bist du weg? Ja, wir sind gekidnappt worden, ne? Und wir wurden ein paar Mal getreten und geschlagen. Und jetzt erzählen wir ihr gerade, dass unser Vater sich eigentlich gar nicht so sehr für uns interessiert, dass wir gar nicht so viel mit unserem Vater reden. Und dass ihm vielleicht auch einfach egal ist, dass wir hier sind. Und dass es vielleicht gar nichts bringt, uns gekidnappt zu haben. Möglicherweise. Anyway, he doesn't care if I'm dead or alive. He might even feel relieved about me getting kidnapped. Sorry about that, but you would have better luck with his secretary. If you let me go now, I can even tell you his secretary's number as a bonus. Ich helfe dir sogar, sie zu kidnappen. Wirklich, versprochen, wir können das zusammen machen. Proposed to her half jokingly. Your direction was unexpected. She didn't open her mouth, instead just looking at me coldly from beside the window. I think that's funny. To my surprise, she walked to me while flipping her hair. I think you deserve sympathy. Want to pity you? She grabbed my collar and pulled me so close I could feel her breath. Car accident, hospitalized. Your daddy doesn't give a shit about you. Be fucking grateful that he didn't leave you a pile of debt. You think everyone is a happy family? School, meals, a home. So many things you take for granted aren't the case for us. Stop acting like some victim if you know nothing. You just want to puke. Okay, sie hat wieder was gesagt. Du hast wahrscheinlich recht, Nekotama. Zumindest, vielleicht ist sie auch die einzige Kidnapperin und sie hat halt hier noch andere Leute, die hier auch leben. Every word was delivered clearly. Her voice contained a certain indescribable weight. Seeing me not responding, she let go of my collar and spat on the ground angrily. I'm wasting my time. Realizing she might have spoken too much, she turned her head away and returned to the window like a bursted bubble. Well, that didn't work. I sighed slightly. Things won't be that easy after all. It's true I wanted to win her pity, but that was no lie either. Oh! Mehr Backgrounds. Auch wenn sie nur ein bisschen, ja, Flashback-Stuff und so sind. Ja, ich habe mir auch gesagt zwischendurch, dass sie einfach nur uns arme Leute im Allgemeinen meint. Also teilweise meint sie das auf jeden Fall. Hier, ich glaube trotzdem, dass es hier mehrere Leute gibt. In irgendeiner Form. Aber ja, allgemein, manchmal spricht sie auch wahrscheinlich einfach nur von armen Leuten als Ganzes und reichen Leuten als Ganzes halt, ne? Every time I was home, all I could see upon opening the door was the vast empty living room. I noticed how big the house was, so big that I could feel only emptiness. Breathed out, raised my head and looked at the small part of the sky from the window. The only lie was that I no longer felt hurt by it. Und es wird Nacht. Hunger. Night came, but I had eaten nothing but some crackers. I never knew starving could be this uncomfortable. Stimmt, du hast ja vorher gar nichts gegessen. Du hast nur ein Glas Wasser getrunken und ein paar Cracker gegessen wohl. Ja, hey, ich meine, hey. Ist doch besser als nichts, ne? Ich habe schon mal weniger gegessen an einem Tag. Rich boy. She didn't seem to eat anything either. She was either staring at her phone or smoking while looking out the window. There were a few phone calls, but they were all made outside, so I couldn't hear them. Didn't know what they would discuss, but it didn't appear the negotiation with her family was smooth. After all the hesitation, I decided to ask her. What? I need to go to the bathroom. Guter Punkt, das müssen wir auch tun zwischendurch. Da habe ich gar nicht drüber nachgedacht. Ja, was sagst du jetzt? Soll ich mir in die Hose pissen? She stole a glance at me, but acted as though she heard nothing. Ich wäre nicht mehr überrascht, wenn dir das egal wäre. So I need to go to the bathroom. I repeated myself. This time she slowly turned toward me. She probably didn't expect my physiological needs. She opened her mouth awkwardly, but couldn't say anything. Can you figure something out on her own? Was denn bitte? Clearly the type that got angry when having nothing to say, she turned her head with a stern face, knocking at the desk with a knuckle. Realizing this might be a chance to make her untie the rope, I grew silent. Not knowing my plan, she acted carefree but kept stealing glances in my direction. So it was about time, I said innocently. Guess I have to do it here after all. Wait. Okay. Es ist ihr nicht egal. Würde auch schlecht riechen, ne? Seeing I wasn't joking, she stopped me with a darkened face. Are you a retard? You go to the bathroom yourself? Nein. Ich bin gefesselt. Staying in an old house was the one thing, but even a kidnapper wouldn't want to stay in a room filled with crap. But I can't even unzip myself like this. You. Ja, hi. That's so annoying. She pushed me to the wall suddenly and turned me over. What on? Panic over not seeing anything. She turned myself back, but only heard a cold voice next to my ear. Be quiet. Ja, wir haben es geschafft. Ich glaube, wir werden unser Seilchen verlieren, unsere Fesseln. She pressed my body with her elbow and felt a cold sensation on my back. No question about what that was. No talking, no struggling. If you move, I stab. If you yell, I stab. She wasn't going to castrate me, was she? She knows that even without my genitals, I still need to go to the bathroom, right? Sehr schöne Theorie, bin ich sehr dabei. Wir bleiben ganz ruhig. Ich glaube, sie bringt uns nicht um. Suddenly, the restriction on my hands disappeared. Oh. It was quite a relief, both mentally and physically. My hands were finally free, and I felt like all my energy was used up. I never thought moving freely could bring such happiness. Even my shoulders and neck felt much better. If I could move my hands, my chance of escape was much higher. Die Frage ist halt, ob wir entfesselt bleiben. Also ob es uns wieder, fesseln wird, nachdem wir zurückkommen. Aber hey, immerhin erstmal ein bisschen Freiheit. Raise your hands. As though she saw through me. I saw the sharp knife when I turned around. I told you to raise your hands. Wait a sec, I won. She was totally not giving me a chance to explain myself. Achso, I won't, wollte er wohl sagen, und ich habe gewonnen, aber ist ein bisschen komisch abgeschnitten auf jeden Fall. Can't escape even without the rope. Who would be so dumb as to fight someone with a knife? Ich finde, das ist gar nicht so dumm. Du könntest es wahrscheinlich schaffen, realistisch gesehen. Also wirklich jetzt. She knew my nagging and showed no hesitation with her movements. Es ist nicht unmöglich zumindest. My happiness evaporated instantly. Within a minute of my freedom, I returned to being a prisoner. Ich finde es halt dadurch ein bisschen unrealistisch, dass er das immer sagt, von wegen, ich habe keine Wahl, ich kann gar nicht fliehen, weil du hast ein Messer. Wenn sie eine Pistole wenigstens hätte oder so, würde ich das eher sehen, glaube ich. One glance at the bathroom and antiquated was the only word I could think of to describe it. Und mehr Backgrounds. Okay, es gibt mehr Räume. Unglaublich. Ich werde immer weiter überrascht hier. The light from the window was the only illumination, and the air smell of mold. The tiles were engulfed with dirt, the bathtub covered in tiles, and the ink green toilets all looked like products of the last century. The rain was so nasty I couldn't even look at it. I tried to make a face in the mirror, but the reflection was so blurry I couldn't even recognize myself. Wir wissen noch nicht, wie wir aussehen. Wir werden es wahrscheinlich auch nie herausfinden haben. Das ist einfach unser Self-Insert. Self-insert als Rich Boy. My effort to turn the rope was in vain. I moved my tight hands back and forth, but I couldn't remove it without some tool. I could find some sort of sharp item, like a razor or broken tile. Done yet? You better not have any funny ideas. Almost done. She sounded impatient outside the door. To avoid suspicion, I chose not to stay too long. I would better leave after finishing my business. Bathroom breaks were the only time I was by myself. If only I could find some weapons. Das ist eine Zahnbürste. Gibt es Toilettenpapier im Badezimmer? Das könnte eine Wahl sein. Auch die Tasse. Also jetzt mal realistisch gesehen, die Tasse wäre wahrscheinlich die beste Waffe. Von den Sachen, die hier in dem Raum sind. Könntest du ihr über den Schädel ziehen. Upon exiting, she immediately moved closer in case I was hiding something. From the rope to her pockets, she didn't miss any detail. There's nothing really. Even the body search didn't seem to remove a suspicion of me, as though there was no way I could be this obedient. Was hätte ich mir nehmen sollen? Wie gesagt, die Zahnbürste. Also wirklich. It'll be fine if I cooperate, right? I'm not brave enough to risk my life. You better not be. You're the only one in trouble if you try to escape. If the rope can't hold you, I wouldn't mind breaking your leg. Making that final threat, she returned to the window and lit a cigarette. She tiredly supported her head. The messy hair, the expression, making it hard to tell her thoughts, which seemed to disappear with the cigarette smoke. Hey, she recklessly went through my cell and asked suddenly, why didn't you have your mom's number here? I accidentally deleted it. Oh, she's busy, no time for me. Having no intention to talk about my family, I tried to end the topic quickly, yet she started laughing mockingly. Ich glaube, mit unserer Mutter haben wir gar keinen Kontakt mehr, oder? Also ich glaube, unsere Mutter ist wirklich irgendwann abgehauen mit irgendeinem anderen Dude. Hat sich seitdem wahrscheinlich nicht mehr gemeldet. So busy that she doesn't even know her son was kidnapped. Isn't your dad the only one working? What is she busy with? Shopping? Afternoon tea? Buying luxury purses abroad? How biased can you be? I was fed up with her unreasonable attitude, trying to paint rich people as pigs drowning in money and all sorts of luxury. I mean, that's what they are. They had no ability, no brains, and were only good at ordering people around with money, exhausted their employees every day to earn more money to waste. Ja, exakt. Woher weißt du das alles? Ach ja, weil du reich bist. I didn't know how many people believed in such stereotypes, or suspecting others were doing something illegal if they had a better life than themselves. Das habe ich jetzt nicht gesagt. Ich habe nur gesagt, dass es illegal ist. Die Gesetze sind einfach nur scheiße halt, ne? They didn't ponder the reason behind those differences, but simply lamented the social injustice and cursed others' success. Such blind hatred of the rich was simply laughable. All these claims of they are just lucky and rely on their parents. I could do the same if I were rich, or just to propel forward their self-righteousness. Ich hoffe sehr, dass sich unser Protagonist noch ein bisschen entwickelt, sagen wir es einfach mal so. Und dass nicht der Ausgang der Story ist. Ja, arme Leute sind schon einfach scheiße. Sollten schon einfach sterben vielleicht. Biased. Hearing my words, she snorted and raised her eyebrow in disapproval. Are you kidding me? Aren't you the ones with the bias? What can you achieve without a diploma? Who let people like her in? I thought she must be a thief if she's this poor. Aren't these your slogans? After a lively imitation, she burst into laughter, her voice filled with self-deprecation. I would like to know what I've done to deserve all your bias. Her tone sounded like one who had been through much discrimination. I wasn't sure what sort of experience had led her to such an extreme mindset. Yet such words from the mouth of a kidnapper seemed to only prove those biased statements. Maybe it was discrimination from her being impoverished that led to such deep-seated animosity. Das ist aber sehr weit hergeholt. Sind die meisten reich, weil sie etwas gut können? Das ist die Frage, die wir uns stellen müssen. I'm not sure about that. Ist Elon Musk reich, weil er etwas gut kann? I'm not sure about that. Ich meine, ja, die können etwas gut. Sie können vielleicht Geld machen. Gut, I guess. Ja. Wenn man das als einzelne Fähigkeit werten möchte. She turned her head and was unwilling to say more. Night arrived, her eyes sparkled like stars and focused on some faraway place I couldn't reach. It couldn't be helped, I know that. Elon Musk ist auch intelligent in der Tat. Sehr, sehr, sehr wahr, ja. The world isn't fair. The girl's voice was barely audible, and I wasn't sure if it was directed at me or at herself. They got within the room like some spell, nicht smell, and stayed for a long time. Und das war der zweite Tag wahrscheinlich. Oder der erste Tag. Many things were easier than expected. Ich never knew kidnapping could be this easy. It was taken without any sort of resistance. Achso, sind wir jetzt in ihrer Perspektive. Aha. The girl looked at the boy next to the wall, curled his body up to preserve some warmth. Okay, hier hätten wir jetzt wirklich wenigstens die andere Perspektive haben können. Also die andere Seite des Raums. Und halt, einen CG von ihm. Aber wahrscheinlich wollen sie halt echt sein Aussehen nicht zeigen im Laufe der Visual Novel. The short and rapid breathing seemed to indicate he couldn't find peace even in a dream. Uncertain if you had really fallen asleep, the girl didn't close her eyes despite her drowsiness, afraid he might escape if she wasn't careful. Once she got the ransom, she could start a new life, away from the stigma and boredom. The cell phone flashed notification. Some hesitation flew across the girl's face, but it reverted back to the same look of sternness. She had long decided that it didn't matter what it would take. So long had she lived for someone else, it was time to fight for her own right. Ich meine, gut, wahrscheinlich ist das nur so ein kleines Ding, was wir zwischendurch haben. So sehr, sehr kurze Abschnitte. Wo wir mal ihre Perspektive ein bisschen sehen. Warum ist das so dunkel, dieses Menü? Also warum ist die Schrift so dunkel? Ich dachte, vielleicht wäre das einfach nur auf den Slots, die noch nicht belegt sind, aber es sind einfach alle Slots so dunkel. Wie soll ich das überhaupt lesen hier? Also ich kann es lesen, ja doch, aber es ist schon ein bisschen weird. Könnte schon dieser Farbe hier oben sein bei Save und bei Page 01 von 10 und so zum Beispiel, genau. War das jetzt doch, das ist doch heller jetzt. Achso, wenn ich, okay. Wenn ich drauf gehe, ist heller. I guess. Also ist es auch, wenn ich auf Load gehe. Nee, hier ist nicht, erst wenn ich drauf gehe, okay. Das ist sehr strange, aber warum kann ich nicht den Autosave laden? Mysteriös, alles mysteriös. Ist meine Verbindung weg? Nein, ist sie nicht. Ich werde schon wieder nervös, wenn mein Chat kurz crasht. So, machen wir weiter. Day 2, Silence Girl. Tag 2 am Morgen. So cold. I couldn't rest of this cold weather, if only there was something warm. Ja, solange es nur der Chat ist, ist es mir egal, ist richtig. Also nicht egal, aber ist schon okay. Kann ich mitarbeiten. I didn't feel better after I slept. Instead, I felt even more tired. I was hoping to find a chance to escape when she fell asleep. However, time passed and she didn't show any sign of closing her eyes. I couldn't help but fall asleep first. The last thing I saw was her lighting another cigarette. My body must have been really exhausted if I could fall asleep like that. Ja, kein Wunder, dass sie kein Geld hat, wenn sie immer so viel raucht. Ja, da ist das ganze Geld natürlich auch hin. Ah, okay, da haben wir tatsächlich, wie ich gesagt habe, Younger Girl wahrscheinlich. My eyes in a daze and saw an unfamiliar face right before me. Ja, Young Girl. Nicht Young Girl, nur Young. I jumped back reflexively. Du bist gesprungen. In deinem Stuhl, okay. I tried to shield my chest with my hands. Yet my tied up hands reminded me of my kidnapped status. Regardless, I was shocked by this new face. I said at the new girl before me. The first thing I noticed were her beautiful eyes, clean, light brown, like pieces of amber. Thick coat and dark red sweater looked pretty old. A small body suggested she might have been in junior high. So, she was clearly unfit for a place like this. Na, wenn sie halt überhaupt zur Schule geht, ne? Das ist halt die eigentliche Frage. I know who she was, but I didn't easily notice the knife in her hand. She stared straight at me, but showed no sign of speaking, which somehow emitted an inexplicable pressure. Ah. Who are you? I tried to ask her, but she refused to answer and shook her head. Nein, sie hat den ganzen Körper geschüttelt, einfach von links nach rechts. She was on guard of my every movement with pressed lips. There was no sign of the kidnapper around. There were only the two of us in the room. Ja, sie wird wohl auch Teil des Kidnapping-Gedönses sein. In other words, a chance to escape. Bitten wir um Hilfe einmal. Ja, wird bestimmt funktionieren, ja. Ja, wahrscheinlich passt halt das ältere Mädchen auf sie auf. Wahrscheinlich ist das die Story. Dass sie deswegen Geld braucht. Head shaking. Seeing she had no intention to help, I tried to untie it myself. Expression vividly changed upon noticing my attempt. Don't move. As expected. Only another victim or the accomplice would be here. Yeah. If she wasn't tied up and instead held a knife, then she must be my guard. Bin ich mir noch nicht sicher. Ich muss sie nochmal beide nebeneinander sehen. Ich finde nicht, dass sie wie eine kleine Schwester aussieht. Ich glaube nicht, dass sie verwandt sind. Aber das muss ich jetzt mal nebeneinander sehen, um genauer drauf zu gucken. The quiet girl and the anti-social one. What a bizarre combo. Ja, Standard-Combo, ne? Bisschen Abwechslung schaffen und so. This sort of plot in a movie would have easily triggered the haters. It appeared reality could be more ridiculous than fiction. Solche Zeilen sorgen eher dafür, dass ich etwas nicht mehr ernst nehmen kann. Aber in Ordnung, ich akzeptiere das. I breathed out and couldn't help but laugh out of stress. Ist also das ist ein Klischee, das ist ein Trope, aber ich weiß, dass es ein Trope ist und ich schreibe es hier hin, dass es ein Trope ist, damit du weißt, dass ich weiß, dass es ein Trope ist und dass ich das absichtlich gemacht habe. Also ich habe es nicht absichtlich gemacht, sondern ich habe keine bessere Idee, aber du weißt zumindest jetzt, dass, ne, you get the idea und dann denke ich mir so, ja, I don't know, macht's nicht besser, ne? The young girl looked emaciated. She was most likely no older than the average junior high school student. Her head hung down, she looked a little scared and didn't want to talk. Is there anyone else here? There would be no progress if I didn't strike up a conversation. I decided to speak proactively after giving it some thought. She stared at me tightly with no response, making one wonder if she understood. You asked to guard me, right? Still no response. Can you untie the rope for me? I can't feel them now, and if it stays like this... She shook her head, finally speaking after being silent for a while. Big Sis told me not to listen to you. Problem ist, ich kenne mich nicht genug mit chinesischer Sprache aus. Ich habe keine Ahnung, ob die Big Sis sagen und damit nicht Big Sis meinen. Also im Japanischen könnte Big Sis, in Anführungszeichen, auch müsste ja nicht heißen, dass es für die große Schwester ist. Deswegen weiß ich jetzt nicht, ob es die große Schwester ist. Das ist für mich jetzt kein ausreichender Beweis. Her voice was light and quiet, like smoke in the air. Finally heard her speak, and it was frustrating to hear something so pointless. Ja, wer ist wohl die Big Sis, huh? Who's this Big Sis? Is she the one with the long hair that kidnapped me? Where is she? I need to talk to her. After continuously asking her questions, I'd gotten not a single answer. As I was asking them too eagerly, and that made her cautious. She looked at me suspiciously, but refused to say anything. I told myself to hang in there. I had to stay calm in these situations. Took a deep breath to suppress my unease. I tried to smile to lighten up the mood. Do you have anything to eat? Don't tell me your sister doesn't allow that either. I had no strength with an empty stomach. I hadn't eaten anything since yesterday. My stamina went out faster in this cold weather. I had to save my energy for my chance. There was a war of attrition. Would she let me go, or I'd give up first? Answering with actions, she put a bowl on the ground, grabbed the water bottle of difficulty and carefully poured some into it. Here. She handed me the bowl and then brought me a pack of crackers. Das ist sehr nett, vielen Dank, das reicht. Guck mal, die ist viel freundlicher als die andere. Damit kann ich doch arbeiten. Worrying I might escape, she never moved her gaze away from me. The hand grasping the knife never loosened up. Observing her actions quietly, I could read her thoughts, but couldn't discern anything except stress. I drank the water with much effort, spilling quite a bit on my clothes due to my tied-up hands. My clothes were wet again after finally getting dried. The hard crackers tasted like pure flour alone, hard to swallow even with water. I knew it was not the time to be picky. I had to cherish any opportunity to replenish my strength. Noticing a conflicting gaze, I asked, "What's wrong? Big Sis is not a bad person. She will let you go when she gets the money. So, please don't move." Ich werde wohl kooperieren. Was auch immer das genau bedeutet. Ich weiß nicht, wie genau ich kooperieren soll, aber ich werde kooperieren. Didn't finish the full sentence, but she already looked happy and clearly dropped her guard a little. She didn't seem to have the same level of animosity as the other girl. Maybe I could convince her. She believed her sister would let me go once she got the money. If only things would go so smoothly. Na, ich weiß nicht, also... Ist nicht unmöglich. Na, wobei, ja, wir hatten halt natürlich schon den Punkt, dass sie kein Problem damit hat, dass wir ihr Gesicht sehen und so, dass sie nicht versucht hat, das zu verbergen. Vielleicht hat sie wirklich einfach vor, uns umzubringen, sobald sie das Geld hat. Ne? Ist jetzt nicht unmöglich. Would the teacher notice something was wrong if I hadn't gone to cram school for 2 days? Unlikely, considering how often I skipped it. Unless it lasted long enough, but even in the worst case scenario, they would only contact the parents instead of the police. I started to regret not having more friends who would notice me going missing. Expecting her to let me go upon getting the ransom would really be that easy. Remembering that vague smile, I didn't feel very assured. The girl was squatting next to the wall and stared at me while hugging her legs. There was no curiosity in her eyes, as though nothing interested her here. She was just guarding this place at someone else's behest. Big Sis, huh? Considering the relationship, it was unlikely she planned to kidnap the kidnapping. She was most likely just an accomplice following orders. Like some stereotypical bad girls who smoked or dyed their hair, she looked like a well-behaved but shy kid, at least if I hadn't met her in this situation. Ja, okay, vielleicht sind sie wirklich Geschwister. Vielleicht akzeptiert das einfach mal. So was planning all this. Somehow felt things weren't as simple as they seemed. There were too many points of suspicion if they were the ones planning this. Vielleicht ist es auch einfach nicht relevant. Beziehungsweise vielleicht ist sie auch insofern die Big Sis, dass sie beide keine Eltern mehr haben und so und halt zusammenleben. Ja, weiß ich nicht. Even carrying me here should have been problematic for them. Also, the person she was connecting concerned me as well. Hey. I called out to catch her attention and tried to start a conversation. She was younger than the kidnapper yesterday and with much less animosity. There might have been a chance to convince her. How do you get my information? You're a student, right? Do you know what you're doing? She stared at me with no change of expression. I wasn't sure she heard me. This might be even more troublesome than the other one. But at least guess my kidnapper's thoughts if there was some sort of conversation. It's only wasting our time here at this rate. Naja, verschwenden tust du sie nicht, weil alternativ tust du halt einfach nichts und sitzt hier nur rum, ne? Also reden bringt schon irgendwas bestimmt, vielleicht. I know what she told you, but this is kidnapping. Surprise Pikachu face. Das ist wirklich einfach a Surprise Pikachu face. I tried to sound more threatening to make her talk. There will be punishment even if you are enraged, and that would involve your family too. Do you know that? They're just using you. They might blame this on you later. Big Sis would not do that. She promptly interrupted me. How can you be so sure? Just because she was kind to you? Do you think she would still be on your side by then? Finally making her talk, I tried to push forward. She told you a plan for getting the money. Do you really know her? Big Sis would not do such a thing. You are the one who doesn't know her. Das ist sehr wahr. Ich fand die ganzen Annahmen auch gerade ein bisschen weit hergeholt von uns hier. Ich gehe davon aus, dass sie sich schon vielleicht länger kannten, als jetzt gerade, bevor der Plan hier angefangen hat. She interrupted me loudly and stood up all of a sudden, with her little body shaking. I didn't expect such a big reaction. Perhaps her relationship with her Big Sis was closer than I thought. Wobei er anscheinend offensichtlich nicht denkt, dass Big Sis wirklich Big Sis heißt. Also Big Sis kann wohl offensichtlich auch nicht Schwester heißen. Also ja, ich kann mich nicht entscheiden, was Big Sis bedeutet. Es ist sehr schwierig. Of course I don't know you, Big Sis. Stopped for a few seconds and stared at her coldly. All I know is that she is a kidnapper. That's all that matters. Liar, you don't know I, Big Sis. She raised the knife and yelled at me with her chest heaving up and down. That's all the word before the key part. Why then? Big Sis is just... Faced my questioning, she lowered her gaze. Worrying she might get too agitated and really harm me. Decided to change the subject despite my desire to continue. Anyway, I don't get it, but you better give it some thought. Coldly ended the conversation, leaving her staring at me hesitantly. No matter how much faith one has in others, no one would stay still after hearing those words. I wasn't sure how effective that was. I could only wait and see. It's not like that. Not able to retort, she squatted next to the wall in depression, mumbling with her head in her arms. Seeing her almost about to cry made me feel a little uncomfortable, but I would do anything as long as I could get out of here. Besides, they were the ones at fault here. There should be no sense of guilt involved, even if I hurt them a little. Ich meine, ich verstehe deine Situation, ja. Also ich würde auch sagen, ich würde es dir nicht übel nehmen, wenn du sie bei deiner Flucht verletzen würdest. Aber, ja. Soll ich resten? Ich glaube, ich reste einmal. Ich möchte nicht unbedingt sterben. Auch wenn wir wohl genug Leben haben erstmal noch, aber ich weiß halt nicht, was noch passiert. Ne? Es kann noch jederzeit gefährlicher werden hier. Wer weiß, wer weiß. Habe ich irgendwelche interessanten Fragen, die ich hier stellen könnte? Zumindest wäre das gerade hilfreicher, als mich umzugucken weiter. Stimmt, So Cold war ein Thema, was wir auf jeden Fall ansprechen wollten, ne? Ich weiß nicht, ob uns das was bringt, ob sie uns was sagen wird in die Richtung. He stared at me cautiously, as though not feeling too happy about me saying bad things about her big sis. You really like your sister, huh? Sighed heavily. The depression in my chest didn't lessen one bit. Yeah. She nodded without a second thought. She's only this certain when it involved her big sis. Wir machen sie nicht wütend, nein. I wasn't sure if she was just innocent or easily to fool. Even though she was being manipulated, she still got mad for her. Someone really needed to knock some sense into this little girl. What was pointless to tell her that now? One was a big sis that took care of her, and the other was a random stranger that she knew for less than a day. It was clear who she would pick. Ist ja die Frage, ne? Inwiefern sie wirklich manipuliert wird. Vielleicht, ich glaube, das redest du dir nur ein, dass sie manipuliert wird, aber gut. Ich glaube, sie weiß halt, dass ihre Schwester das Geld vielleicht braucht. Ja. Dass sie das Geld beide brauchen, um zu überleben. Dass sie das Geld sogar für sie sammelt. She made a sound to indicate she heard me. I waited a while before continuing to talk. Only was a little warmer. My movements restrained, I had no way to get information if they didn't talk to me. To get information from her, I need to find a way to make her talk. After all, telling her directly I want to talk most likely wouldn't work. Boah, keine Ahnung. Ich will nicht nach Kaffee fragen, als ob ich einen Kaffee bekomme. Well, you don't talk much, do you? No. One word ended the conversation, even I didn't know how to continue. Regardless of her differences in age and background, plus the fact she was a kidnapper's accomplice. Weiß nicht, vielleicht hätte ich nach einem Kaffee fragen sollen. Vielleicht war das die Lösung für alle meine Probleme im Leben, aber ich glaube nicht, dass ich einen Kaffee bekommen hätte, um ganz ehrlich zu sein. Imprisoned life was surprisingly boring. Ja, Kaffee wäre erstmal schön jetzt, ne? Mein Kaffee habe ich jetzt getrunken, beruhigt habe ich mich jetzt nicht. I couldn't do anything with tied hands, and the only person I could talk to was as silent as a rock in one corner of the room. There was no phone, no TV, no internet. The usually insufficient 24 hours now felt way too long. Yet she didn't look one bit bored. Flipping through a book from God knows where, she observed my movements from time to time. I ate the same crackers for breakfast and lunch. I also went to the bathroom once, hoping to find a chance to escape. Aber du bist ins Bad gegangen, während sie hier ist? Du hast es nicht geschafft zu fliehen? Das heißt ja, sie hat dich doch entfesselt? Und dich zum Bad begleitet? Du hast dich nicht getraut, das kleine Mädchen wegzutackeln, weil sie ein Messer hat? I'm just saying, das ist ein bisschen lächerlich, okay? Ein bisschen lächerlich. Wie gesagt, wenn sie eine Pistole hätte, wäre das was anderes nochmal. Sie hat keine Pistole. Don't you eat anything more normal? Or do you just love crackers? She ate the same thing as me. They were cheap and tasteless no matter how long you chewed. And they only serve to make your mouth dry. Vielleicht kann sie sich kein anderes Essen leisten. Unless you won a year's worth of them from lottery, there really was no reason to keep eating them. I started the conversation out of boredom. She raised her head thoughtfully. This is very cheap and lasts long. Aren't you worried about malnutrition? There was nothing but starch, let alone fiber or vitamins. Pretty ironic for something called nutrition biscuit. Oh. Naja, mein Gott, also in einer Situation, in der es um Leben und Tod geht, würde ich schon ein Kind tackeln, würde ich sagen. Ja, doch. Würde ich machen. Schon no concern about balance. Ich würde sie jetzt nicht töten, aber wegtackeln? Sure. Vielleicht gefällt sie mir auch dort. Ja, Stockholm-Syndrom hat schnell eingesetzt, ha? Hang out of her this whole morning. She didn't give any sort of proper response except when it was about her big sis. Pretty incredible, I would say. Ja, sie wollen ihn nicht killen. Das heißt nicht, dass sie es nicht tun, wenn sie das Geld nicht bekommen. Was sehr gut möglich ist, dass sie das Geld nicht bekommen. Strangely enough, it wasn't like she cared about this big sis that much. It was more like she just didn't care about anything else. Did you figure something out of my dad? No idea. Her answer without hesitation didn't appear to be a lie. However, it did trigger my curiosity if she didn't even care about the status of the ransom. No matter who you are, you must care about something, whether that be family, work, or some dream. Yet she had none of that. There wasn't even some sort of animosity against me, only caution at most. Ja doch, sie hat sich wahrscheinlich offensichtlich für ihre Schwester interessiert, also Family. Das ist ihr doch offensichtlich wichtig. Dass du nicht schlecht über ihre Schwester redest. How do you like your big sis? Hesitating a little, I decided to follow how she addressed the person in question. Cause big sis took good care of me. Ich meine, was hast du sonst erwartet, ne? That's it? She said no more despite the pause. Then I realized she had finished. She frowned as she stared at me. You're willing to do all this just because she took good care of you? That's quite the burden. It must be easy to please. What the hell? If you treated her nicely, she might even kill someone for you. Kidnapping is by no means a light crime in any country. It could easily end up with more than 10 years of jail time. Je nach Land ist das vielleicht auch gar nicht, ist es doch gar nicht schlecht ins Gefängnis zu kommen. Hier, wir sind in China, I think. Wahrscheinlich. Vielleicht doch lieber nicht ins Gefängnis, I guess. Ich bin jetzt kein Experte für chinesische Gefängnisse, aber vielleicht lieber nicht ins Gefängnis. Finally understood why gangs like to recruit students around that age. Anyone nice to you must be a friend, and one would do anything for a friend. I hadn't able to retort. A bit of confusion flew through her eyes. Because Big Sis is nice. I want to help her. Is that strange? She said quietly. Depends on what you're helping her with. It was a simple question, but with an implication. Maybe you don't want to care of her except this, Big Sis. Ja, offensichtlich. Many things you take for granted aren't the case for us at all. Ja, wie zum Beispiel zur Schule zu gehen, was du die ganze Zeit annimmst, sollte sie tun. Vielleicht geht sie halt nicht zur Schule, vielleicht, ja. Ist halt keine Selbstverständlichkeit. Mirroring her words from yesterday, I realized there might have some real difficulties. I just feel... Ja, wie fühlst du dich? Sympathy, so fühlen wir uns. Maybe they had their reasons to do this. Yeah. As she said, the world is not fair. If only I could convince them to let me go. Okay. Ich habe irgendwas freigeschaltet, aber es wird nicht angezeigt. Na gut. When the sounds, the sudden phone vibration sound extra sharp. Er ist ja kein Arsch, ich habe es ja nicht gewählt, also fühlt er sich nicht so. Aber ich hätte es wählen können, dann wäre das ja meine Entscheidung gewesen, mich so zu fühlen. Was natürlich auch interessante Implikationen hat, anzunehmen, dass man sich entscheiden kann, wie man sich fühlt. Aber, nun gut. Das sind halt Entscheidungen in der Visual Novel. Irgendwie muss man ja Sachen entscheiden, ne? Hello? She was asked about me as the girl glanced at me when answering the call. Yes, it's all right. No idea what the conversation entailed and could only guess from her words. Okay. I was a kidnapper from yesterday. Where could she be if she needed a call to confirm my situation? Did she already contact someone to get the ransom? Maybe they had other bases. He's next to me. All right. The girl handed me the phone. I raised my tight hands and then shrugged helplessly. She hesitated a little, then put the phone next to my ear. At this distance, maybe I could bump into her by surprise. I could probably still overwhelm her. Also, wie gesagt, er hat offensichtlich kein Problem damit, ein Kind wegzutackeln. Aber er hat es nicht geschafft, als er auf die Toilette gegangen ist. Really? I don't get it. Before making up my mind, I heard a voice from the phone. Hello? The cold voice sounded a little different through the phone. The noisy background seemed to indicate she was somewhere outside, maybe a restaurant or karaoke place. Bestimmt, das sind so die Orte, wo sie wahrscheinlich unterwegs ist. Hey, can you hear me? Yep. I see you're still kicking. Sorry to disappoint. She didn't seem pleased with my greeting. Maybe she was expecting me to go into a panic and shiver in the corner. The more she wanted to see me in fear, the more I wanted to act indifferently. It wasn't really part of any self-strategy, just some pointless show of resistance. You should know this by now, but I'll repeat it again. Don't try to run. Don't ask questions. I am watching you, and if anything happens... She paused, then left a threat. Even if I agreed to return you, I wouldn't be breaking the deal if you lost an arm or leg. Ja, finde ich auch. Ist fair. I didn't even need to guess what she wanted to say. Lose an arm or leg, throw me off a cliff, bla bla. Nö, ich glaube, throw off a cliff würde nicht gelten. Weil dann wärst du wahrscheinlich tot. Je nach Klippenhöhe, ne? Hell, even agreeing to return me alive was already saintly of her. Most wouldn't even intend to keep the hostage alive. Hostages usually got silence after the kidnappers got the money and were ready to run. Didn't plan to believe her words from the beginning. If I play too nice, I might get killed without knowing how. Is my dad paying? None of your business. Just worry about yourself. But... Bullshit. Why would I ask about that if not for concern of my own safety? Want to ask more, but got stopped mercilessly. I'm heading back now to stay put. So stay put, that's all. Hey, wait! Before I could say anything, she hung up. I hung up right after she said whatever she wanted. What a woman. Hearing the empty sounds of a disconnected call, I knew being mad would make no difference. What did Big Sis say? She approached me once the call ended and asked me worriedly. Within the short period of time, I wonder what to say. Oh, wir antworten ehrlich. Es ist wahrscheinlich keine gute Idee. Ich bin die ganze Zeit jetzt einfach gerade ein guter Mensch. Ich bin ein guter, gekidnappter Mensch. Das ist wahrscheinlich nicht sehr sinnvoll. Aber auf der anderen Seite, wenn ich sie anlüge und die große Schwester herausfindet, sobald sie wieder hier ist, auch gruselig. Wahrscheinlich. Weiß nicht, was das für Auswirkungen haben wird. I remembered how the big sis sat next to the window smoking, seemingly in thought and also impatience. Ja, ein Kind zu manipulieren, jetzt regt dich ab. Also, Kinder sind auch nur Menschen, die ein bisschen kleiner geblieben sind. Oder so, weiß ich auch nicht, was mit denen passiert ist. Äh, warum die so sind. In contrast, this girl was way too quiet, and she just sat there holding her legs together. Wie gesagt, in dieser Situation ist mir das vollkommen egal. Also ich würde das Kind sowas von wegtackeln und anlügen und alles. Darum geht's mir nicht. Es geht mir nur um die Konsequenzen, die es für mich später haben könnte. Da finde ich, auf Toilette gehen und sie dann wegtackeln deutlich effizienter und weniger gefährlich. Big Sis asked her to guard me, so she guarded. Big Sis asked her not to talk to me, so she didn't talk to me. Whether it was about the outcome or the reward, she was clueless and didn't care. She just had faith in her Big Sis. Such blind trust was not far from stupidity. I almost felt bad for her, for how stupid she was. Time felt much longer when you were waiting. I even sighed in relief when I heard a sound approach. A motorcycle engine was shut down not too far away. Okay, sie hat also ein Motorrad. Aber wie hat sie mich denn mit einem Motorrad transportiert? Also, I mean, I guess, es ist nicht unmöglich. Aber es wäre trotzdem wahrscheinlich ziemlich auffällig, einfach so eine Person bei sich drauf liegen zu haben hinten, ne? Irgendwie. Weiß nicht, wie sie das getan haben soll. There was no elevator. Was this an apartment or some privately owned house? I could only hear one person's steps, and so there was no one coming back with her. I'm back. The one who walked in was the same girl from the day before, aka the Big Sis. Es war nachts? Ja. Reicht das? Ja, maybe. Maybe wird schon jemand fragen, ne? Unsure of what was going on in my mind, she looked at me unsuspiciously and handed the plastic bag in her hand to the other girl. Bento, eat it while it's still hot. Big Sis. The little girl whispered something into her ear. I couldn't tell the context from the distance. The girl nodded, staring dead straight at me. She tried to check the rope, even pulling it a few times to make sure it was tight enough. I told you, I didn't do anything. If I could get out of this, do you really think I'd stay here? Quiet. Ask her then. She threw the other girl a questioning glance, which was answered by a silent nod. Her head wasn't even turned. It seemed like the Bento was much more attractive than the situation here. Verständlich. She sounded unhappily, but couldn't find a reason to act up. She then just started to laugh scornfully. Whatever, I doubt you have the balls to try anything. You have a rich mom and daddy arranging everything for you from school to work. You probably even have a maid cleaning the house. Can't do shit on your own, can you? Here we go again. This ridiculous resentment was not just aimed at me, but anyone with a better life than her. What was the point of hating all these people? Would it change anything about her life? Wouldn't it be more practical if she tried to change something instead of hating? Naja, macht sie ja. Also ich glaube, sie versucht gerade was zu ändern an ihrer Situation. Vielleicht ein bisschen drastisch, aber kannst ihr nicht vorwerfen, dass sie nichts versucht. Where did you go? Probably would only be more pissed off if this continued, so I decided to change the subject to avoid trouble. Oh, wouldn't you like to know, hm? Ja, auch das war keine Frage, von der ich davon ausging, dass sie jetzt beantworten würde. Not cutting many slack, she raised her eyebrow provocatively. I said helplessly. This was really going nowhere if she kept up with this attitude. You start eating, don't mind me. I had dinner already. No need to leave me anything. Ich gehe davon aus, dass sie nichts gegessen hat. Und dass sie es einfach nur sagt, damit sie kein schlechtes Gewissen hat. She loosened her forward brow and patted the little girl's head kindly. There was even a smile on her face. Sie ist es ja, wie gesagt, wahrscheinlich gewohnt, hin und wieder mal nicht zu essen, ne? The little girl nodded obediently. Even an outsider like me could tell how close they were. If anything, I couldn't even believe she still had such an expression in her. More questions popped into my mind upon seeing their interaction. With such familiarity, what was their relationship? What was their relationship indeed, huh? The sound of water flowing in the bathroom reminded me that I hadn't taken a shower for 2 days. Still felt uncomfortable, even though I'd barely moved or sweat. Komm, 2 Tage. Auch das stelle ich nicht so an, möchte ich behaupten. I was willing to give up half of my possessions for a hot shower and pay for my future income for a cup of cocoa as a bonus. The little girl was clearly starved and was quietly and happily eating the rice. She paid no attention to me. I think I looked extra weak and small from here, so I couldn't believe she could be a kidnapper. What kind of family would allow her to do such a thing? Vielleicht keine Familie? Er ist echt nicht so ein Big Brain, ne? Considering my own family, I had no right to criticize others. Phew. The girl left the bathroom, holding her hair. She only washed her face since there was no hot water. The light shone on her face, rendering her pale complexion a little more rosy. Yet the expression on her face was still cool as ice. Ich finde es sehr interessant, woher die Information hat, dass sie sich nur das Gesicht gewaschen hat, weil es kein heißes Wasser gibt. Also das wirkt auch wieder sehr weit geschlussfolgert. Davon ausgehend, dass es wahrscheinlich immer nur kaltes Wasser gibt. Und dass sie ja wohl zwischendurch schon mal mehr als ihr Gesicht wäscht. Also. She seemingly noticed my gaze and asked me with an eyebrow raised. Nothing, just that I hadn't taken a shower for a while. You think this is some fancy hotel, rich boy? I would have called customer service given such quality. Keep flapping your mouth, I dare you. Never mind. She snorted with contempt, even walked to the window to lightly shake the little girl's shoulder. The girl had finished her bento and was falling asleep against the wall despite her best efforts to stay awake. Go to the bed to sleep. You'll catch a cold like this. She nodded sleepily and climbed into the bed obediently. Was für ein Bett? Was für ein Bett? Not minding all the dust on it, she grabbed the bed sheets and lay down. Maybe she was really tired. It didn't take long for her to fall asleep completely, leaving only the sound of steady breathing in the room. The girl walked up to the window, opened her bento, and started to eat it quickly. Nothing for me? Torn by the scent of the food, I couldn't help but ask. You can just eat the crackers. Ja, sollte reichen, oder? How about just a cup of coffee? I have money in my bag. Rather than a hot dinner, I preferred some hot coffee to relax my nerves. You done yet? I learned that protesting wouldn't help, and now the headache was even more unbearable without coffee. She looked troubled and was just eating absent-mindedly. She kept poking the drumstick for what seemed to be no reason. Please stop playing with the food even if you're not in the mood. I can have it if you have no appetite. Hunger plus anger made me give the suggestion. I'm thinking about how to keep your mouth shut. I doubt me doing that would solve your problem. So noticing a darkened look, I decided to keep my mouth shut. Oh, hat geklappt. Hat sie geschafft. War leichter als gedacht, huh? Piecing all this together along with her reaction, I could only come up with one conclusion. You couldn't reach my dad? How did... War doch offensichtlich, oder? You tried to trick me. Reacting, she slipped without thinking. Her face instantly darkened again. I didn't mean anything, I just thought... Fearing she might lose her temper, I immediately tried to pass off the responsibility. However, she stood up suddenly. Looking down on me? Find me easy to fool, huh? She bit her lips, staring at me with utter hatred, voice colder than ever. Not at all, I'm just guessing randomly. There must be something wrong, and I doubt the police have found out this soon. Look, Her reaction far surpassed my expectations. I tried to explain myself, but that didn't stop her walking towards me. She walked closer and closer with the knife, eyes flashing with hysteria. Was she really going to do this? I was really fearing for my life for the first time ever. She's like a cornered animal that would try anything in desperation. Struggle. Stop right there! Not able to suppress my fear, I tried to wave my hands to stop her approach. Oh well. Ich wollte mal irgendwas tun. Was nicht einfach nur passiv da sitzen war. She easily locked my hand out of the way and pushed me to the ground. I struggled to get up, but then she grabbed me by the collar. My body's... Oh, da sind wir! Wir sind ein Mensch! Wir existieren, wir haben ein Gesicht. Also wir haben eine Seite. My body slammed hard into the wall. Ich hab Schluck auf. Facing her cold stare, my heart froze instantly. Now you're scared? She scornfully stared at me with a look of madness. The lines I came up with didn't work. The message was clear in her eyes. Ja, die CGs sind gut. Die CGs sind sehr, sehr cool. She wanted to kill me. She wanted to stab me, slice my throat, and open my wounds. It wasn't about the ransom. All that was present was a desire to murder. I trembled uncontrollably, but couldn't speak. I thought I didn't care. However, now that I was this close to death, I realized how much I wanted to live. Don't move. Move on, but I stab. The fear of the unknown suffocated me. I could feel the cold touch of the blade on my throat. My mind was blank, without even the desire to plead. I was so scared by the knowledge that one tiny movement of mine would guide the knife to my throat. One simple push and I would be a dead man. I vividly felt the knife cut open my skin, creating a thin wound down my neck. Oh, wir verlieren mehr Stamina. Oh fuck. Blood came out of the wound, not as painful as I thought, but the alien sensation made my head numb. One last time. Don't lie to me. One word at a time, she made her message clear. I'm done with the likes of you. If you dare to look down on me, you will regret it. A quiet voice, but filled with hatred. She meant it. Without a doubt, one more time and she would do it. Only then did I realize death was only inches away. I just laid there on the ground motionlessly. My tense body was still trembling. Vielleicht ist also kooperieren doch wirklich die bessere Art und Weise, um hier fortzufahren, ha? Vielleicht ist das einfach die richtige Lösung, tatsächlich. At that moment, I confirmed something. They could end me at any time. Yeah, duh. The notion of her not touching me before getting the money or having some backup plan meant nothing to them. At this point, she had nothing to lose. Took a deep breath as I faced the window. That's how I calmed myself down since childhood. What I needed to do stayed the same. Ja, was musst du tun? Hier sitzen, offensichtlich. The desk lamp drew a long shadow from her. What had just occurred still creeped me out a little. However, since she hadn't contacted my family, there was still a chance. I breathed in deeply, gathered the courage and talked to her. I have a proposal. Nicht, dass ich es hören will, aber naja. Ist halt wahr, ne? Sie hat ja keinen Grund, uns nicht zu töten. Unser Vater glaubt uns ja offensichtlich eh nicht, dass wir hier sind. He just doesn't care. Let me go now. All money is yours. It might not be much, but still 70 to 80,000 NTD. Ich weiß nicht mal, wie die Währung heißt. Welche Währung ist das? Keine Ahnung. Könnt ihr mir gerne sagen, falls ihr Bescheid wisst, falls ihr euch besser mit Währungen auskennt als ich, falls ihr mehr Allgemeinbildung habt als ich, was nicht sonderlich schwierig ist. Ich habe nicht sonderlich viel Allgemeinbildung. Seien wir ehrlich. You can escort me to the ATM if you want to, or do it any manner you prefer. You want to keep this on the down low, right? Why so insistent? I used my last bit of strength to convince her, considering her position. I tried to propose something that would be mutually beneficial. I believe no one would risk his or her own life until there was no other choice. Now it's still not too late. Ja, richtig, Styles. Wobei, auf der anderen Seite, könnte sie uns wahrscheinlich nicht töten und das einfach normal mit jemand anderem machen. Nur weil wir nutzlos sind, weil ihr das kleine Mädchen danach wahrscheinlich nicht mehr so sehr vertrauen wird, oder? Weil das kleine Mädchen war sehr davon überzeugt, dass sie kein böser Mensch ist und dass sie uns nichts tun wird. Sie wird uns wieder gehen lassen. Aber warum ist es denn NTD? Also ich dachte mir, dass es halt in Taiwan die Währung ist. Sind das irgendwie New Taiwan-Dollar oder so? I don't know. The wait was so long. I thought there was no response, but she finally turned her head. No rage in her eyes, only extortion. Why should I believe you? I should believe that you will hand me the money and never call the cops. Wir wissen nicht mal deinen Namen. Wenn du uns die Augen verbindest, wissen wir auch nicht, wo das hier ist. Okay, ja, ist new tatsächlich, ha. I'll be the one in control once I get my freedom. She won't be able to do anything to stop me from calling the cops. No answer? Then shut the fuck up and stop wasting my time. Aber warum gehst du davon aus, dass ich nicht die Polizei rufe, wenn mein Vater mit das Geld dir gibt und du mich dann freilässt? Dann könnte ich auch die Polizei rufen. Außer du hast nie vorgehabt, mich gehen zu lassen, ne? Alternativ. Rather than handing a fate to me, she'd rather believe in herself. My gathered confidence grew fainter and fainter, and I was out of ideas temporarily. But this kept going. And then what can I do to gain your trust? As of my last ounce of courage matching her stare, I could see the fragility under her cold look. Oh ja, das ist, Dafür würde ich niemanden entführen, ne? Hat sich das nicht so wirklich gelohnt? Wobei, vielleicht für sie schon eher. Also in ihrer Situation lohnt sich das vielleicht schon mehr, aber trotzdem würde ich mich damit jetzt nicht zufrieden geben. Wahrscheinlich, muss ich zugeben. Da wäre es mir dann doch auch zu riskant. I don't know. She turned to the window and quietly said it again. I don't know. Vielleicht hätte sie gar nichts dagegen, uns gehen zu lassen, wenn sie uns vertrauen könnte. Ich weiß ja nicht, wie sie uns vertrauen kann. Realistisch. Also wir resten erstmal auf jeden Fall. Einmal. Nicht, dass sie uns wieder angreift. Kann jederzeit passieren. Ich meine, ich würde halt in ihrer Situation bei allem davon sagen, geh dich nichts an. Also, warum sollte sie was anderes sagen halt, ne? Huh? None of your business? Ja, richtig. She has nothing to do with this. I forced her to help. Oh. I'm surprised by that answer. I thought she would push the responsibility on her. You know, it sounded like she was protecting her. Ja, offensichtlich. Weil wir wissen, dass das Mädchen freiwillig hilft wahrscheinlich. Ich glaube nicht, dass sie wirklich gezwungen wurde. Aber das ist wohl, was sie offiziell sagen wird, falls es schief geht und falls irgendwie die Polizei doch ins Spiel kommt. Und ja, dann wird sie halt sagen, das kleine Mädchen wurde gezwungen natürlich. Damit das kleine Mädchen nicht auch ins Gefängnis muss. What an interesting relationship. She seems to really trust you. She stared at me, biting her lips, but her internal turmoil was clear. She knows nothing. The little girl curled up on the bed, holding the bedsheet tightly. She didn't seem to be at peace even at night. The girl sighed lightly, and then turned to me to emphasize my point again. I forced her here, and it was all my idea. My decision. Ja, klar. I got it. I replied perfunctorily, knowing that wasn't the truth. There was no way for her to be disobedient if she was forced, let alone defending her big sis. Exakt. Also die Frage ist, gibt es noch irgendwas, was ich mir angucken kann hier? Okay, jetzt kann ich mir die ganzen Sachen hier auf dem Tisch auch angucken. Das ist nämlich deutlich interessanter alles. Da die ganzen Zigaretten auf dem Boden, finde ich ein schönes Detail auf jeden Fall. Was ist das? I'm not sure what brand it is, but the smell is not as bad as I thought of inhaling it for a while. Then a blue package. What brand are they? I should try to ask about it. It might be the clue to identifying who she is. What? Huh. What is the brand of cigarettes you smoke? Why? You want to try it out? No, I'm fine. Then why ask? Just found it smell special. She figured telling me wouldn't matter much, so she answered easily. Light 7. My dad only smokes these. Mhm, dein Vater also. Und smokes also, ja. Aktuell. Here at the road a long time ago. Shitty man who doesn't take care of his family. Okay, also er lebt noch, aber wahrscheinlich lebt er noch, aber er ist auf jeden Fall abgehauen. I will kill him if I ever meet him. Seeing how angry she got, I found something strange. Wasn't it just contradictory to hate someone yet smoke the same brand of cigarette? Ist das so? Das ist das, was dich stört? I'm not sure about that. She still smoked the same brand of cigarettes as her father despite her dislike of him. Surely she was also conflicted. Aber ja, das ist wohl die Schlussfolgerung, die wir daraus ziehen sollen, zumindest. I was getting late and I still couldn't find a way to change the situation. Hat es wohl auch an den Geruch gewöhnt, ne? Das kann natürlich auch etwas sein, was dann irgendwie nostalgisch wirkt. Tatsächlich ist das, denke ich gerade an eine Band, an Pianist Become the Thief. Die haben mehrere Alben über den Tod des Vaters des Sängers geschrieben. Und es wird sehr oft explizit der Geruch von Zigaretten erwähnt, den er vermisst. Also deswegen erinnert es mich gerade ein bisschen dran. Things could still get resolved without much incident. It wouldn't be this easy once the police got involved. But how? Even though I could tell she had hesitated, I couldn't win her trust. So I had to win her trust first. The sudden vibration broke the silence. She looked at the phone screen, then jolted a little as though being electrocuted. She lowered her eyes under the message. She raised the corner of her mouth, but didn't appear to be that happy. I had a bad feeling and instantly asked. There will be a call in 10 minutes. Tell your dad to pay up if you want to go home. Okay, endlich. Endlich das Telefonat. Mal sehen, ob es funktioniert, ist halt die Frage, ne? The unexpected change of events instantly froze my body. That was way too soon. I was naive to think I still had time to convince her. The moment she reached my family, there was no turning back. The police would start taking action, the family preparing the ransom and the culprit preparing the escape. What now? Warum willst du sie dann noch überreden? Als wenn es funktioniert? Das ist doch gut für dich, oder? Interessiert dich das wirklich? Warum willst du sie noch überzeugen dann? I quickly went through all the possibilities in my mind, but couldn't come up with a solution. I must not stop thinking. There must be a way. Time passed second by second and I had no time to hesitate. It's the money you want, right? Is there really no other way? Out of options, I gave it my all and just yelled at her. Giving her a chance to contemplate, I continued after a quick pause. Let me go and you can have all the money as proof of my silence about this. Think about it. You really think you can get the money this easily? Are you okay with playing hide and seek for the rest of your life? I couldn't finish my words. Seeing expression, I realized that was it. Under the night light, she looked almost like a dream, too empty and transparent to be touched. Also transparent würde ich es jetzt nicht nennen, ne? Aber ja. Auch gutes CG. Alle CGs, wie gesagt, gefallen mir sehr gut bisher. That smile couldn't hide the helplessness and regret in her eyes. Silence and immense sadness. There's no turning back. Her voice was calm, surprisingly. There was no anger or accusation, only concussion in that expression. She surrendered to her hopeless life. Nothing was more convincing than that expression. So even she could express such hopelessness. There's been no turning back since a long time ago. The phone vibrated again. Seeing her pick up the phone, I couldn't say anything. I should have known. The moment the phone rang, nay, from the very beginning, nay. She had no other choice but this. Under the serene moonlight, the cogwheel started to spin faster. The girl opened the phone. The screen flashed the time, 3 a.m. There's only steady breathing in the room. The boy couldn't resist the desire to sleep after all. It's the money you want, right? Remembering his words, the determination in his eyes surpassed her expectations. Perhaps he wasn't as useless as she thought. There's no regret in her decision, only a vague note of ironic sadness. Never until this moment had anyone cared what she wanted, trying to convince her not to break the law. No more one should take responsibility for one's life, or don't keep asking someone to help you. There was no return. Either she would get the money and pay the debt, or get arrested instead. Stimmt. Das war ja der Punkt, dass ihr Vater sie mit Schulden hinterlassen hat, ne? Das war, was hat sie ja schon mal gesagt gehabt, auf jeden Fall, dass sie mit Schulden zurückgelassen wurde. Sie hat gesagt, sei froh, dass du nicht mit Schulden zurückgelassen wurdest, was bedeutet, ich wurde mit Schulden zurückgelassen. Und jetzt haben wir herausgefunden, dass ihr Vater abgehauen ist und ja, das ist wohl was passiert ist, gehe ich mal von aus. Deswegen brauchst du das Geld, weil, ja, sie jetzt eh schon keine Wahl mehr hat. The stars sparkled like an unsettled mind. Finally, she breathed out quietly. Worst case scenario, I would just die with him. The quiet voice of the girl evaporated in the room along with the cigarette smoke. Das kleine Mädchen hat wohl doch vielleicht nichts mit dem Geld zu tun, was du sammelst, ha? Ich dachte halt irgendwie, du bräuchtest das Geld für das kleine Mädchen. Aber das wäre halt irgendwie eine gute Motivation wahrscheinlich. Aber das ergibt natürlich auch einfach Sinn. So, dann würde ich sagen, weil wir gerade ein Kapitelende haben, würde ich hier ganz kurz Pause machen. So bis 18 nach ungefähr, mal gucken. Ne? Und dann machen wir hier gleich weiter. Einfach mal. So. Willkommen zurück, falls ihr da seid. Ich bin wieder da zumindest. Ich habe, wie ich das so gerne tue, in ein Playthrough reingeguckt, wie weit wir so sind. Und wir werden heute nicht fertig. Also, Spoiler, wir werden heute nicht fertig. Das ist die Erwartung, die ich jetzt habe. Das ist das Ergebnis, das ich erreicht habe. Wir gucken mal, wie viel wir noch schaffen. Aber wir werden nicht fertig. Also, einen zweiten Stream wird es wahrscheinlich nochmal geben. Falls Interesse besteht. So, genau. Habe ich Sound wieder angemacht? Habe ich. Okay. Machen wir weiter mit Tag 3. Gap between us. So cold. In my eyes and days, from outside of the window, the sunlight sputtered across the floor, but even that wasn't enough to remove the gloominess in the room. I tried to stretch my body, the sunlight failed to dissipate, the cold and the freezing air made me shudder. Day 3. I was getting used to the room's moldy smell, but the night was still too cold to sleep properly. Haben wir jetzt mit unserem Vater telefoniert oder nicht? Ich meine, ich dachte, er ruft in 10 Minuten an oder so. Hat er das falsch verstanden? Vielleicht hat er das falsch verstanden. Weil offensichtlich haben wir nicht mit ihm gesprochen. My stomach burned from the starvation. Not only did I feel worse physically, but mentally as well. For letting me prove my identity through the call, she took the phone and tried to prevent me from listening to their conversation. About 10 minutes later, she returned and lit a cigarette. The smoke permeated the air. There was no way for me to know what they had discussed, and all my questions got no response. My father's voice through the phone sounded like plain as plain. Okay, vielleicht haben wir doch telefoniert, oder vielleicht telefonieren wir jetzt. He was more skeptical than nervous. Even after a few questions, he still didn't believe I was kidnapped. Dachte er, dass wir ihn scammen wollen, oder was? I tried to tell him my status, but the phone got taken away before he could make any sense out of it. Maybe he couldn't even recognize his own son. I laughed ironically despite my chest being burdened by unease. So what now? Fake against the grey ceiling, I tried to figure something out. Puh. Was soll, wenn ich nichts mache? Okay, dann kommunizieren wir. Das ist doch die bessere Wahl, oder? Ist das die schlechtere Wahl? I don't know. I don't know. Oder wird random entschieden? Vielleicht wird random entschieden. Rather than taking the risk to escape, I should try to convince them. After hanging out with them during the past few days, I had learned that they weren't that difficult to communicate with. Naja, das will ich nicht sagen, sie sind schon schwierig, aber man kann es schon schaffen. I just hoped it wasn't just an illusion. I looked around the room and found the little girl sitting next to the wall, surrounded by books from God knows where. The big sis was gone. Based on the door sounds I heard, she probably left around early morning. What time is it? I asked her. She poked her head out from behind the book. This question should be fine for her to answer, right? 7? So early. I never expected time to pass this slowly, especially when I used to be able to sleep until noon and just skip breakfast. I was so bored that I even felt bewildered by the situation. Aber Moment. Warum fragst du sie, wie spät es ist? Das ist eine Uhr. Ich meine, laut der Uhr ist es 5:45, aber es ist eine Uhr. There was this sci-fi novel that I read before. I couldn't recall most of the details, but one specific part left quite an impression. It was a nation with special punishment. They paralyzed criminals' bodies, but kept their consciousness intact, and the criminals were left in the cell. All they could do was think. Think through eternity, without connection with the outside world. With life support, they could still breathe, but only breathe. Finally understood what that intriguing concept would feel like after experiencing it myself. When you couldn't move your limbs, pain and hunger stood out like a sore thumb. All my attempts to break free failed, and the knot was still tight as ever. Who knew rope could be this durable? There was counterfeit butter and pudding in the market, yet the rope was still this sturdy. The government really should have allowed this sort of top-notch manufacturing. My train of thought only led to another headache, along with my sore throat. Could it be that I caught a cold? Should I reserve my energy and try to talk to her? Both, aber wir reden erstmal. I hesitated a little but decided to talk to her. Aren't you afraid? Of what? Of the cops coming for you? Werden sie ja nicht. Denn sie hatte nichts damit zu tun. Sie wurde gezwungen, ja? Sie ist nur ein armes, kleines, unschuldiges Opfer. It took her a while to respond. What they? She asked me quietly. What do you think? Kidnapping someone plus asking for ransom. That it wouldn't get the police's attention, then so be it. Then so be it. We don't want to do this either. We have tried our best. They have done worse things to Big Sis. Like what? She turned her head away and didn't answer. The conversation seemed to depress her. It took quite a while before I heard her behind the books. I'm scared. If Big Sis needs my help, I'll help. If you want to help her, you should let me go. There's my chance to say this upon seeing her expression. Pressing her lips to suppress her fear. Whatever, I shouldn't push too hard on the subject. I convinced myself of an excuse, not fully certain why I decided to stop there. After that, she didn't speak and only indulged herself in the book silently. Kann ich eigentlich die Bücher da auf dem Boden angucken und mit ihr darüber auch reden? Also wenn ich jetzt wieder eine Erkundungssequenz habe, eine Umgucksequenz. Anything to eat? I tried to chat with her on different subjects, hoping to figure out some intel. Das ist ja was anderes als Cracker. Crackers First aus Steam Buns, das ist besser als Crackers, oder? Vielleicht? They were all cheap foods of long shelf life, yet lacked an appetizing value. Na komm, beschwer dich nicht so. The outside was dry like an air-dried tangerine skin. It was quite hard to chew and I could barely taste anything in my mouth. I swallowed it down with water and started to miss the American brunch from a few days ago. The craving made me sigh in despair. Is it that bad? Yeah, it would be much better if there was fried egg with pepper. She stared at me, surprised, and only opened her mouth a little later. You know how to cook? Sort of, just simple stuff. We had some simple ingredients ready since I lived alone. I was lazy, I just cooked some instant noodles plus a fried egg and called it a meal. Same! Same! Das ist meine Standardmahlzeit. Most of the time I just put everything from the fridge into the crock pot. I didn't really care as long as they were cooked and filling. What, is it strange? Seeing a hesitation there, I asked. I thought you'd have someone cooking for you and bring meals to your room every day. Ich meine, ich finde es interessant, dass sie das daraus dann geschlossen hat. Also ich habe gesagt, it would be much better if there was fried eggs with pepper. Bla, ich kann nicht reden. Aber das da hat er gesagt jedenfalls. Und daraus hat sie geschlossen, you know how to cook. Ich weiß nicht, auch das könnte mir jemand machen, oder nicht? Ja, Ofenkartoffeln sind auch gut. Ofenkartoffeln sind auch gut. Like a butler? You've watched way too many soap operas. Didn't stay in a hotel with that kind of service or anything. My breakfast is usually just a sandwich, bread or onigiri from the breakfast shop. Like regular folks. Naja, mehr als Cracker, ne? Realizing how mundane my breakfast was, she responded disappointedly. Did you think of me as some playboy millionaire from a movie who spent all day long in bars to hook up with chicks? How about tea parties? Right before I could explain myself, she threw me another ridiculous question. Tea parties? Ja? Gibt's auch ein Omineko? I repeated the words and confirmed that I didn't hear wrong upon seeing her nodding. Ich bin reich, aber nicht so reich. Außerdem würde ich auch, wenn ich reich wäre, nicht auf Teepartys gehen, glaube ich. Also nicht wirklich, glaube ich. Behaupte ich jetzt einfach mal. Okay, so if my ears still functioned and I didn't misunderstand her, she was referring to a traditional British afternoon tea. Like those things with 3 layers from bottom to top. You had sandwiches, scones, and cakes. You tasted them in that order too. Taste aside, that just sounded like a giant pain in the ass. Never tried it. I didn't even hear of that often. In the magazine, they said rich people invited friends over with lots of food and tea. Right, I know what a tea party means. So no tea party for you? Nope. Ignoring a curious look, I replied without hesitation. Why? Making tea and buying cakes is a ton of work, and you have to clean up the mess after inviting people over. Too much trouble. Didn't even talk to my family much, so the whole idea of us having a happy afternoon tea time was just unimaginable. Könntest du mit anderen Leuten eine Teeparty feiern? No one prepares it for you? No one hired someone just to make tea. For this sort of luxury stuff, wouldn't it be more convenient to have it in some cafe? She quietly lowered her head, as though pondering my words. Do you by chance think my house is some fancy mansion with many servants and all I need to do is ring a bell? Oh dear. I was just kidding, but based on her reaction, I was right. I live by myself in a 300 square foot condo, doing my own laundry and cleaning, plus chasing the garbage truck to throw away the trash from time to time. But aren't you rich? My dad is, not me. Might make no difference for them, but I corrected her nonetheless. Also, being rich and being wasteful are two different things. I want to do things by oneself if possible. Why? Why indeed, no? Why what? The quiet girl started to talk and asked me question after question with much curiosity. Unlike her, big sis, there's no hatred or mockery in her eyes, just pure curiosity. If I had money, I would live in a big house and hire many people to cook and clean. Ich meine, das ist auch nicht verschwenderisch, ne? Also Leute anzustellen, weil man schafft ja immerhin Arbeitsplätze. Also das ist ja voll okay, ist ja eigentlich nicht schlecht. Is that so? For me, I just needed a place big enough to live. Didn't even have that many friends, so what was the point of all the fancy desires? Besides, the bigger the house, the harder to clean. Hiring someone to do it would be an extra expense. There was no point in troubling myself like that. If I did everything for you, then what would you do? Ich habe genug zu tun. Genug andere Sachen zu tun, als aufzuräumen. Just rest. Das ist auch gut. Also das würde ich auch machen wahrscheinlich, die meiste Zeit. Realistisch gesehen wäre das sogar, was ich meistens machen würde, auch wenn ich andere Sachen zu tun hätte. Realistisch gesehen mache ich das sogar jetzt schon die meiste Zeit über, selbst wenn ich andere Sachen zu tun habe. Also. You know. If you have everything done for you, you will become nothing but a useless waste of space. She tried to explain, but lowered her head like a wrecking ball. I don't know. Ich meine, das ist ja der Grund, warum Leute gerade so im alten Griechenland und so, ne? Keine Ahnung, ich bin kein Geschichtsexperte, in Rom und all dem Gedöns da. Rom war jetzt nicht auf Griechenland bezogen, das waren zwei verschiedene Beispiele. Keine Sorge, ich denke nicht, dass Rom in Griechenland. Okay. Nur damit wir das erklärt haben. Ich bin dumm, aber nicht so dumm. Der Punkt ist, sie hatten ja damals so viele gesellschaftliche Fortschritte gemacht, so viel Zivilisation und so viel Kultur gehabt, weil die halt Sklaven hatten, ne? Also ist ja der Grund dafür, warum die so viel Zeit hatten, um so viel Kultur zu schaffen und zu philosophieren und den ganzen Blödsinn. Weil die reich waren und Sklaven den ganzen anderen Mist erledigt haben. Ne? Deswegen. Also, Hobbys nachgehen ist eine gute Lösung. Man ist nicht automatisch eine Platzverschwendung nur und Luftverschwendung, nur weil man nicht sich um den Haushalt kümmern muss. Das ist gerade kein Argument dafür, dass Sklaven gut sind übrigens, by the way. I'm just saying, ich verstehe nicht, was sein Punkt darüber ist, dass er nichts mehr zu tun hätte, wenn er Leute dafür anstellen würde, für ihn zu kochen und für ihn aufzuräumen. Das finde ich ein bisschen lächerlich. For them I enjoyed a comfortable life with no effort, while they got trapped in poverty despite their best efforts. Envy and depression accumulated and eventually turned into anger and hatred. False imagination came from all the rumors and media portrayal, picturing the rich as people crashing into others while drunk or high after having crazy parties. At the end of the day, the media just wanted provocative news. A fancy car killing someone was always more marketable than a cheap ass one causing it. Integrity has nothing to do with wealth. There's no lack of rich people leading a rather simple life. You just never see them in the news. They do whatever they can to produce things people want to see. Public media code of integrity? That doesn't mean jack shit in the audience-driven era. What about the truth? Neither journalists nor the audience care. We see what we want to see. Despite knowing this full well, we still choose not to resist it. So what now? So what now? Ich will mir die Bücher angucken, genau. Darf ich das? Ja. There's quite a variety of books ranging from magazines, reference books to even cookbooks. Only thing they share in common is their poor condition. A theory of justice, the Lucifer effect, quite a few things I've never heard of. There might be some used books picked up from somewhere. You really like reading, don't you? Guck mal, das heißt, wenn du Leute anstellen würdest, um für dich zu kochen und für dich aufzuräumen und alles, dann könntest du den ganzen Tag lesen in Ruhe. Top, oder? She had been reading at the corner for a few days now. She had changed to another book after finishing one and never get bored throughout the afternoon. I lose my patience if I have to read for more than an hour or two. Boohoo. Ich lese gerade 4 Stunden am Stück. Diese Scheiße hier, ja? The book selection was pretty diverse, ranging from novel to magazines to travel guides. It didn't appear there was any real selective process. Einfach Travel Guides lesen. Beste. Where did you get all these books? You borrowed them? It was unlikely for them to buy books if they had to kidnap me for money. However, there was no library barcode on them either, on top of the fact that they looked quite old. Big Sis gave them to me. Vielleicht einfach welche, die weggeschmissen wurden oder so. She answered without raising her head and kept flipping through the magazine. Big Sis wants me to read more so people won't look down on me in the future. Right. The explanation was unexpected. I thought she would say educated people were all liars and rich people were all demons. All the talk about how damnable the rich people are, yet she still wanted to be like them. So did Sis go to school? Only till middle school. She raised her head with a rare smile on her face. She might not look like it, but Big Sis has good grades. For real? Good grades. I tried to imagine the girl in the school uniform and I just couldn't picture her as someone with good grades. Ist auf jeden Fall nicht der Eindruck, den sie macht, ne? Ich finde es aber auch interessant, dass wir hier immer eine Auswahl haben. Also früher oder später werden wohl beide mal im Raum sein, ne? Im selben Raum. What do you picture me as? A rich person? Remembering all the past conversations, I sighed helplessly. I think you must have quite a misunderstanding about rich people. Rich people aren't all bad people. Propaganda. She looked at me silently, not really believing me. Try to judge for yourself. I don't know what news you've seen or what your big sis has told you that makes you think all rich people are bad. What have I actually done? Do you think everything she said is true? Try to judge for yourself with your own eyes. Try to convince her subtly. If you could understand, then perhaps I could get out of here without much risk. I don't even know. She used my glance and didn't want to hear more from me. I sighed lightly. If I couldn't change her mind right now, then to wait for another chance. Dann gibt's noch was Interessantes, was ich mir angucken könnte? Also vor allem was eine Konversation mit ihr hervorrufen würde. It's so cold. Ah. Thought my coat all I have is this thermal shirt, which is far from sufficient in this weather. I have to keep myself warm to even rest. I can't conserve my energy without sleep. Can you bring me a coat? I'm a little cold. She turned her gaze to the coat, but only shook her head unmoved. No. Oh man, I just want to keep warm. It would be troublesome for you if I get sick, right? She hesitated but handed me the blanket on the bed after seeing I wasn't lying. Here you go. Thank you. So, please don't run away, okay? Hearing the almost pleading tone for a split second, I didn't know how to respond. It wasn't like I had a choice. What was she thinking about? Regardless, I could finally rest nicely. Sehr gut, hat mir sogar Stamina gebracht. In the end, I made no progress. She didn't know what was going on, or was she willing to contact her big sis for me. Ja, wir haben ja schon Anzeichen gezeigt, dass wir langsam krank werden, ne? And I felt horrible. A fluctuating body temperature confirmed my theory. That and the muscle soreness indicated a fever. Shit. Getting sick now of all times, I couldn't even stay awake, let alone escape. The girl was still reading a book next to the wall, having no clue about all the ideas floating in my mind. She was by herself with the knife only a few steps away. My hands were still tied up, but I could still move them a little. I could call her over, knock her out, and cut the rope loose. A sense of unease surfaced along with all sorts of possibilities in our mind. What if she dodged it? Or if the door was blocked? Could there be someone else? I Didn't see much of a chance to succeed, nor did I have any idea where to start. I also might end up hurting her accidentally. She didn't seem to know what she was doing, nor did she actually threaten me. I should avoid violence against her unless I had no choice. I made up my mind and started to think of other options. Big sis? Huh? What? Hearing the girl's voice, I came back to my senses and realized she was staring at me. All sorts of ridiculous ideas intertwined in my brain. I shouldn't make any rushed decisions with this messy mind. Do you hate Big Sis? Who would like the kidnapper? So like I had Stockholm Syndrome. Habe ich auch schon gesagt, ne? Habe ich schon gesagt. Vor einer Weile. I wanted to reply like that, but I kept it down. It didn't matter what I thought. I had to come up with a response that would make her drop her guard based on what she wanted to hear. Saying that I like her might be a bit much, so I should reply with... I don't know. I don't know. She just looked at me after my response. Silence spread across the air like a wall between us. I don't really know her, so I can't say if I like or hate her. I see. Vixen is not a bad person, really. She shook her knees as though trying to convince herself. We just want to pay off the debt. We don't really want to do this. Zoom. Damit man jeden einzelnen Pixel sehen kann, schön. Warum zoomt es dahin? Warum tut es das? What is it doing? The girl's eyes under her bangs as clear as the lake's surface would of any day. Ich sehe ihre Augen nicht. Wollte das Spiel nicht dahin zoomen? Ist das aus Versehen gerade passiert? Ist das ein Bug? She never suspected her sister of any other motive or simply using her. After all this, she still chose to believe in Big Sis and tried to defend her. Why? Vielleicht ist einfach crazy. Einfach crazy im Kopf sind. Seeing her desperation, I only felt emptiness. She worked so hard to make money, but they kept coming to her for more, even though it has nothing to do with her. She was still murmuring her explanation, yet it annoyed me like tinnitus next to my brain. Even though she genuinely wanted to persuade me, even though her Big Sis might have her reasons, I felt nothing. She might not realize, but I just didn't care. I wanted to escape and return back to my normal life. I didn't care if this Big Sis was a good or bad person, or had a miserable past. Why she committed this crime had nothing to do with me. Naja. Es war, aber du solltest zumindest nicht schlecht von ihr denken, vielleicht. Ist zumindest nicht so schlecht. Ich meine, welche Wahl hatte sie? Wahrscheinlich sind das halt echt irgendwelche Lone Sharks oder so, die ihr jetzt hinterher sind, seit ihr Vater abgehauen ist. I sighed lightly. I couldn't tell if I envied her naiveness or hated my cold heart. Und wir können uns noch mehr umgucken. Kann ich mit ihr darüber reden? I didn't find anything interesting. Okay, das heißt, es wird zumindest nicht unsere Zeit verschwendet, wenn wir nichts finden. A strange looking lamp that doesn't even have a lampshade. I know what era it might have been made during. Can I toss it like a weapon? I have to untie myself first, though. Ja, sie könnte wohl netter zu uns sein, klar. Da stimme ich wohl zu. Das könnte sie. Aber ich habe mir den Kalender nicht angucken, ne? The date stopped at August 30th, 1999. If it is the date the original owner left the place, then it must be at least 15 years old. Mein Geburtsjahr. No wonder it looks this miserable. Or rather, it is kind of a miracle for this place to even still be standing after so many years without any sort of maintenance. So, dann reden wir nochmal mit ihr vielleicht über irgendwas. Ich weiß halt nicht was. Ist halt schwierig, ne? She silently looked at me, showing no desire to talk. Ich glaube, das wird sie uns eh nicht sagen, ne? Are you a student? I don't go to school. She shook her head, still not really interested in talking to me. I looked at her. She must be under age with such thin arms and a slender body. Your parents know about this? Did they allow you to do such a thing? She pressed her lips and shook her head. Feeling the mood was too heavy, I decided to talk to her a little later. Ja, wird wohl nicht mehr bei ihren Eltern leben, ne? Behaupte ich jetzt einfach mal. Deswegen passt ja Big Sis auf sie auf. Duh. My cloudy consciousness gradually cleared. It looked like I fell asleep without noticing. The sky outside of the windows was dyed crimson. The freezing wind brushing against my cheek made me tremble. I didn't know how long I had slept, but my body showed no sign of recovering. The rope cut into my flesh like ant bites. My struggling out of annoyance only led to torn skin. What time is it? 5. The girl was at the same spot, quiet like a delicate porcelain doll. Why do you keep asking me the time? Because that's all you will tell me, right? Knowing the time wouldn't change anything, but the sense of cluelessness was just unbearable. Außerdem ist hier eine Uhr im Raum übrigens. Das Thema hatten wir schon mal, ne? Zumindest meinst du, dass die Uhr funktioniert hat, ganz am Anfang. If you buy me a coffee, I can give you all the money I have. If you had made me say the most random things like a drunk man. You like coffee? She raised her head and stared at me with curiosity. That big sis would have shut me up, but she at least chatted with me here and there. Nothing is more pleasant than drinking coffee in this weather, well, except a hot bath. I don't... Too bitter. True. I agree. Ich mag auch keinen Kaffee. Ich bin ein Kind. You learn to enjoy it. Different coffee beans have different tastes. How you prepare is also a factor. Filter rip isn't real coffee at all. Only pour-over coffee can bring out the fragrance. There's nothing wrong with those latte lovers. The only proper coffee is black coffee. They may as well just drink milk. Hearing all my critiques, she made a comment. You really like to talk. Do you have a better alternative? Facing my questions, he started to contemplate seriously. Just sleep? Sie mag schlafen gerne. Ich mag auch schlafen gerne. Das ist voll gut. So was ich in seiner Situation tun würde. Also, ein bisschen ungemütlich, ich weiß, aber naja. Great idea. Please let me know how to just sleep with my hands tied and my body hungry and cold. Ja, gut, okay. I started coughing before I could respond. I didn't even have the strength to joke around. If this kept up, I would cough myself to death before they killed me. Living like this was worse than death. I recalled this line from a book and found it super fitting. The girl stared at me for a while, then came over carefully with the knife. Don't you worry, I couldn't resist you even if you were empty-handed. Ignoring my mockery, she partly squatted before me. I then felt her slightly cold touch. 2/3 Milch, ja, also. Ich vertrag Milch nicht so gut. Seit einer Weile. Auf einmal. So aus dem Nichts. Deswegen. Ja, bleibt mir nur ohne Milch, ne? Ich könnte irgendwelche andere Milchsachen trinken, die keine richtige Milch sind, ne? Aber, genau. Könnte ich probieren. I guess. Aber egal, ich komme auch ohne Kaffee klar. Für gewöhnlich. Ich bin zwar immer müde, aber ich glaube, Kaffee rettet mich auch nicht mehr. Kaffee kann mich auch nicht mehr retten. Und für den Geschmack trinke ich Kaffee auf jeden Fall nicht. You have a fever. Just let me rest. I wanted to waste my energy as I sighed hurriedly and closed my eyes. I had the sound of her stepping back and felt her glance at me with worry. Wie gesagt, es lagen irgendwann mal Tabletten auf dem Tisch. Auf dem einen der ersten Bildschirme, die jetzt da noch nicht liegen. Vielleicht gibt sie uns irgendwann mal die Tabletten. Vielleicht wird das passieren. Vielleicht hat sie die irgendwo her. Vielleicht sind sie auch in unserem Rucksack, wobei das ja, glaube ich, Kopfschmerztabletten waren, ne? Hat er gemeint. Oder so. I had no idea where she'd been. The girl's hair was still messy, and she had plastic bags from a convenience store in her hands. I'm back. Is everything alright? Big sis. The little girl worriedly explained the situation of my body. The big sis frowned upon hearing it. Okay, I will take care of it. You should eat something now. For calmly petting her little sister's head, asking her to take the plastic bags, the girl coolly looked down at me. So what's wrong with you now? Who knows? Food poisoning, maybe? I wanted to show my weakness before her. I gathered my strength to reply. If you can still joke around, it probably isn't too bad. The smell of cigarettes from her made me dizzy. She covered my forehead with the back of her hand, then checked my body temperature in a much rougher way than the little girl. What a fragile body you have here, rich boy. Can't take some wind. Yes, don't you know I'm delicate? Please take good care of me. I spoke without thinking. I was too tired to care if that would trigger her. Why you? Seemingly more frustrated than angry, she pressed her lips and started to check the ropes on me. The point is now I can't. Just shut up if you can't even say the full sentence. Noticing I couldn't even breathe from the coughing, she left those words but also loosened her grip. You should care about me spreading disease than escaping. I'm not a greenhouse flower like you. This sort of cold is nothing. Others would work even with a fever. If I take a day off, I might just lose my job the next day. You have no idea, right? Rich boy. No idea, how did I give a fuck? Didn't pick the job for you, so what was the point of complaining about that to me? Ich hätte dir einfach einen anderen Job suchen sollen, ja? Ist nicht meine Schuld, dass du nicht einen guten Job hast, einen gut bezahlten Job, der dich nicht sofort feuert. It was hard to keep your emotions under control when you felt horrible. I decided to change the subject to avoid an argument. Did my dad pay? Why would I keep you here if he did? Do you think I like tying you up? Maybe. I won't judge. They did make contact yesterday, so they should have been discussing the details of the ransom. Ignoring a provocation, I forced myself to focus on the intel at hand. Common ways are money transfer or cash in the back. However, money transfers could be traced and physical cash was difficult to arrange. I heard some kidnappings used bitcoins or other virtual currency instead, more secure and flexible than cash. Heutzutage werden nur noch Affen verschickt, Affenbilder. Munkelt man. Even a high schooler with a badge could kidnap someone. The question was how to get out of the situation. Save your breath and just rest. I've no desire to call a doctor if you pass out. Thanks for the heads up. She had a point. I shouldn't find more things to torture myself with outside of just my body. I tried to lean back and let the wall take some of the weight. This was a more comfortable pose than what I had in the past few days. But it only made me feel just a tiny little bit better, far from having a good rest. Sis, can I have all these? The girl took all kinds of food from the back. Bread, cookies, and steaming hot oden. The smell only made my headache worse. I already had dinner, so you just dig in. Wie viel hat sie wirklich schon gegessen, ist die Frage, ne? Wie viel hat sie wirklich schon gegessen? Yeah, it is one thing not to share food, but of all the foods you could pick... The girl stopped moving her chopsticks and looked at her sister with a pleading expression, as though asking her what to do. Is that only fair? We're eating instant ramen when we're having a feast. There's no way these sort of cheap foods are to your taste. What the hell? Hearing a nonsensical accusation, I was too exhausted to retort. What? Say something. I've had enough. The fierce headache took away the last bit of my patience. A provoking expression finally made me lose control of my emotions. Bekomme ich nicht mal mehr eine Entscheidung? Right. I am the rich boy who lives in a giant mansion, rinses his mouth with expensive wine and has dozens of maids and butlers. Snap my finger and someone will bring me whatever I want. I smash the plate to the ground after the 2 bites, then whine about what kind of crap this is. Someone drives me to school every day. I've LV bags and Rolex watches. My accessories from top to bottom cost millions of Taiwan dollars. And your poor ass can never ever even afford one of them. How's that? Is that what you have in mind? There was no thought behind those words, just my accumulated rage and frustration coming out like a flood. I was tired of this conversation. There was no middle ground. They forced imaginative perception upon me, totally ignored what they had seen. You know shit about me, nor do you give a fuck. From the very beginning you've decided to hate me just because I live a better life than you. All rich people should die. All of them are trash. They can't help themselves from running over people with the fancy cars, right? So cut the bullshit if you don't know anything. The thought all rushed to my head. I was close to passing out from the headache, but yelled at the top of my lungs anyway. The room echoed from my sound. The little girl curled up next to the wall with a scared expression as though I wasn't tied up. Are you fucking kidding me? Her eyes flashed with raging fire, and she yelled back at me with equal force. I like the weakness that the girl showed. The big sis stood up forcefully. Have you ever felt hungry? Ever worried where to sleep at night? Ever had someone burst open your door to collect debt? I don't know shit about you. Then what the fuck do you know about me, huh? You know what we were dealing with when you were going to school? When you were sleeping? That's what I hate you. That's why I hate you lot. But what right can you live like that? What right can you speak like that? You don't care about us. Cause it's none of your business. Yes, it isn't. I didn't care what would happen to me. I just wanted to vent all my frustration from my chest. So should I feel guilty for Siberian refugees? Be responsible for ISIS? Give me a break. I don't know. Why should I feel responsible for your life? Why should I kneel before you and apologize? I have nothing to do with your poverty. And it is my fault? Her raised fist smashed against the wall. The girl's roar was mixed with sobbing. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know. Hat er gesagt responsible, ne? Und das eine mal guilty. Also ich kombiniere das so. Das ergibt alles Sinn. Think I enjoyed this? You think I don't want to live better? I fucking wish I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Why can some people have a comfortable life without doing anything? Why does my life have to be a living hell? Tell me. Facing the girl's emotional accusations, I couldn't respond immediately. It was neither of our faults. It wasn't even about any individual, but something that was decided before birth. No reason, no explanation. It was capitalism. The world is just not fair. Remembering what she said before, I repeated it. Only that the girl burst into laughter. It sounded relaxed, yet mocking, a mysterious, crazy laughter. Yes, the world isn't fair. So none of us should complain about what happens in this goddamn world, right? Able to find any words, I averted my gaze. Exhaustion took over me once I calmed down. I could barely talk when I leaned against the wall weakly. Chill, someone might call the cops if you yelled this loud. She looked at me over her shoulder, then clicked her tongue unhappily. Shut up, I want to beat up a dying person. How nice of you. Said half jokingly, feeling much more relaxed after releasing all my pent-up thoughts. I couldn't focus my eyes anymore, enduring my fluctuating body temperature. I powerlessly closed my eyes. There was only everlasting loneliness in the darkness. Tired. Cold. How much longer before this was over? Could I be free if I just gave up? Kapitalismus ist die Chance, deine Lage zu verbessern mit deiner harten Arbeit. Oh ja. Oh ja, Julian. Wie wär's, wenn wir das gar nicht müssten? Wie wär's, wenn wir einfach alle von Anfang an eine okaye Lage hätten? Muss ja jemand reich sein. Es gibt keinen Grund dafür, dass irgendjemand reich sein müsste. Das gibt's keinen Zweck für. You know? Können einfach alle eine okaye Lage haben. Man muss niemand seine Lage verbessern im Kapitalismus. Das wäre so ein Gedanke. Would I be free if I just gave up? Would I just let it all go and sleep forever? It is hot. Amidst the cloudiness, an icy cold hand covered my forehead. I had no strength to open my eyes and could only identify the speakers from their voices. What a pussy, acting like a dying man just because of a cold. Easy for you to say. I deserved some credit for remaining sane after being kidnapped and treated like this. Big sis, Will he die? Hearing the mumbling from the little girl, I realized how my senses became sharp after I closed my eyes. Even the air temperature felt extra vivid. There was another hand on my forehead, along with the scent of a cigarette. It takes more than that to kill someone. Despite her words, there was no doubt in her voice. I took a while before I heard her voice again. Look after him for me. I'll be right back. Suddenly felt a weight on my body. A soft cotton blanket held my body heat, making it feel much warmer. I could sense the girl next to me with her gaze, and maybe even her breathing. Her eyes were closed, but I felt her gaze. No, it was probably just my imagination. I couldn't connect the broken thoughts in my mind. I passed out again. Ah, you're back. Mommy needs to head out and take care of something, so have dinner without me. You can eat whatever you like. Medikamente. Bräuchten wir, ne? If he calls, just tell him I'm in class, okay? Oder haben wir welche bekommen? Vielleicht habe ich keine Lesekompetenz, you know? I don't think so. Ich glaube, wir haben keine Medikamente bekommen, aber wir sollten welche bekommen. Es wäre gut vielleicht. Be a good boy, okay? The laughter of an unknown man, hurried footsteps and the sound of an engine starting. Sie geht welche besorgen. Boah, ihr seid so smart. Ihr könnt richtig gut lesen. Wäre wirklich nicht schlecht, ne? Removed my shoes, I found myself in an empty living room. I lay down on the sofa, my mind was blank while I sat at the hanging chandelier. Realized now that this house was too big. Zugegebenermaßen, immer als Entschuldigung, beim Vorlesen gleichzeitig zu verstehen, was man liest, ist immer schwieriger als mitzuhören und lesen, ne? Also, ist meine Ausrede. So huge that it made me feel lonely. Back at the scene of the crime, there was no one in the dark alleyway. The cold moonlight shined upon the fenced construction site. The criminals always return to the scene of the crime, a foolish notion, but there was no exception. One couldn't bear the self-doubt, even when ignoring others' gazes. Was there any evidence left behind? Had the cops started taking action? The girl took a deep breath while lighting up a cigarette. The heavy scent permeated her nose, but it wasn't enough to erase the unease. Hat permeated oder permeated? Ich bin mir immer nicht sicher. Permeated oder permeated, also 3 oder 4 Silben. Bin ich mir immer nicht ganz sicher. Schon das zweite Mal, dass das Wort vorkommt, deswegen denke ich gerade daran. She took out a newly bought cold medicine from pocket. She wasn't sure why she did that. She didn't care about that boy's survival. She didn't even intend to let him live here alive. It was only now that she realized murdering someone was not easy. It was no longer just a thing once you talked to and touched him. He was a living person. It was time to head back. She decided not to think further. She also hadn't slept properly for days now, just relying on nicotine and alcohol. But she had to keep going. For the ideal life she and her only family deserved. Her only family. Das kleine Mädchen, ja. Natürlich. Ja, ihr hattet recht. Ihr hattet wohl offensichtlich recht. War wohl auch nicht so schwer zu erraten, ne? So, ich würde mal vorschlagen, wir machen noch Tag 4. Ich würde mal vorschlagen, wir machen noch Tag 4 heute auf jeden Fall. Und dann ist wahrscheinlich ein guter Punkt, um erstmal aufzuhören. Genau. Through my eyelids, I felt the sharp sunlight. I opened them to see the little pieces of sky from the window. Passed a long night, half asleep. I couldn't recall many details about last night, just how weak I was. Also das da hinten für eine mysteriöse Box, die da rumsteht. The fluctuating temperature rendered my body powerless and my brain would feel nauseated, like I had a hangover. I felt like there was something on my forehead, then realized it was a towel. Ich glaube, es sind 7. Das heißt, dann hätten wir fast die Hälfte. Ja, ich meine, ein bisschen mehr als die Hälfte, so rum. Wir hatten dann ein bisschen mehr als die Hälfte, und beim nächsten Mal hätten wir noch fast die Hälfte. Davon ausgehend, dass jetzt nicht irgendwie der letzte Tag irgendwie länger ist, ne? Was natürlich möglich ist. Zum Ende hin. I felt there was something on my forehead, then realized it was a towel. The ice had been melted by my body heat, making the towel disgustingly wet. Remembering my foggy dream, my heavy heart dropped even further to the bottom. There was a memory of my mother, as well as the last thing I wanted to remember. Was it because of the stress? Mother. I suddenly realized my hands were free. Only the deep marks on my wrist proved that I wasn't dreaming. I started to move my hands in disbelief and tried to examine the rope on my legs when I heard the cold voice of the girl next to me. Calm down, I will tie you right back up if you dare to touch the rope. The girl was already awake somehow, monitoring my every movement while holding the cell phone. I couldn't see the little girl. I assumed they were taking turns to rest, but I wasn't sure where she'd gone. After the argument and torment from last night, my animosity against her lessened a lot. Either that or I just had no energy to care. Good morning. I coughed a few times and greeted her with gathered strength. You took care of me last night? Huh. She grunted unhappily. The non-committal reaction was her yes. Be quiet and save some energy to take care of yourself. Oh, didn't know you cared about me this much. Shut up. My shoes on the ground made a tap-tap sound. She walked to me and looked down from above. Stop acting like that. It's disgusting. Schreib leise. Heard she might really do it if I said the wrong thing. I simply shrugged. You'll kill me after getting the money. After the silence, I decided to be transparent. She hesitated, then non-committally shook her head. Who knows? Ich glaube nicht, dass sie das möchte. Ich meine, okay, wir haben aber auch ihre Perspektive jetzt immer so ein bisschen gesehen am Ende der jeweiligen Tage, ne? Deswegen ist ein bisschen ein unfairer Vorteil für uns, dass wir da ein bisschen Einblick haben. Dass sie, ja, doch merkt, dass wir ein lebender Mensch sind, auch wenn wir Geld haben vielleicht. Could be wishful thinking, but I'd rather believe they had no intention to really do it. So the next step should be try to cooperate. Weiterhin. Anyway, thank you. For what? For taking care of me. Und wäre es jetzt die schlechteste Idee, es nicht weiter zu nutzen, weil wir gerade darauf angewiesen sind, dass sie uns ein bisschen, dass sie sich ein bisschen um uns kümmert, ne? Um unsere Erkältung. Tell you to cough up the money faster than. What are you laughing at? Nothing. Didn't mean to enrage her, so I shook my head, indicating it was nothing. A hostage thanking the kidnapper. This sort of development should make anyone doubt his or her sanity. The argument from yesterday was like a switch, bringing forth emotions long forgotten. Is there anything to eat? Ja, ich hab gerade gesagt, es müssten 7 sein. Es müssten 7 Tage sein. My improving condition led to a better appetite. I asked her for food. Here. First bag of cookies, then she threw a can of something else over. Picked up the can and stared at the cola in hand in confusion. No idea why this thing would be here. Do I drink this? Duh, what else would you do with soda? Keine Ahnung. Thanks. Said no clue, but wouldn't say no to a chance to switch things up. I opened up the cookies obediently to fill my stomach with something first, then washed them down with the soda. Warum musst du Kekse runterwaschen? Warum musst du Kekse runterwaschen? Was hast du gegen Kekse? Since all I'd had were crackers and steamed buns, the salt of flavor was too much. Take the medicine afterwards. I have no time to babysit you. The medicine she spoke of was on the desk. The effect was immediate and didn't make me sleepy. I wonder what it was made of. The food and partial freedom allowed me to relax my mind a little. Relax hostage? I must have been getting too comfortable with the situation. Vielleicht ist es doch gar nicht so schlecht hier zu bleiben. Ist doch eigentlich ganz angenehm. We will let you go once your dad pays. It was the softest tone she'd ever used, as though she was comforting me. Not able to bear that gaze, I looked out the window. The more time we spent together, the more I understood her thoughts, her anger, her contempt, and deep down, her unease. There was a way to avoid harming anyone and end all this peacefully. I shook my head, laughing at myself for the naivety of that thought. So what now? Ich glaube, sie würde es auch am liebsten... oh, new scene opened. You can observe... Was? Click the arrow. You can observant the new scene. Bathroom. Sehr gutes Tutorial, danke. Crazy. Dann gucken wir uns auch mal da hinten um. Warum auch nicht? Gibt es überhaupt irgendwas zu sehen? Ja, wir können uns hier das Fenster angucken, ne? Damn, too small. Too small? Wofür? Wie groß bist du bitte? Some sunlight went through the foggy window, but it was still too small for a person to fit through. So klein ist das Fenster doch gar nicht. Ist vielleicht ein bisschen zu hoch, um da unten hochzuklettern, aber das wolltest du auch hinbekommen. Also ich bitte dich. Na gut, du bist ein bisschen geschwächt und so, I guess, aber... The foggy mirror reflected my miserable face. I tried to smile, but the smile in my reflection looked a little bizarre. Das ist die Frage. Warum habe ich jetzt diesen neuen Raum? Also ja, weil ich jetzt nicht mehr so stark gefesselt bin und so, I guess. Darf mich jetzt ein bisschen hier frei umsehen. The six-pack cola. Its packaging indicates that it's salt-flavored. Salt-flavored? I haven't really had salted cola since elementary school due to its inexplicably weird taste. Where did she even get it from? So you drink cola when you're sick, huh? What do you drink then? Do you usually have a sports drink? Maybe hot ginger tea? Nanny would usually make a huge bowl of that for me to drink when I was sick. Just the smell made my scalp tingle, but now even that had become a special memory. That's what we drink in our family. Every time someone got sick, my dad would buy a whole box of it. Said it could fight the fever. Ist das nicht... Bei irgendwas hat man Cola und Salzstangen genommen, gegessen und getrunken. Was, bei Durchfall? I don't remember. Aber ich erinnere mich, dass mir das meiner Kindheit gesagt wurde. Habe ich auf jeden Fall danach nie wieder getan. Seit ich groß bin. Ja, okay, bei Dur 8. Genau, das habe ich richtig interpretiert. The topic brought forth some memories for her. There was some explicable emotion as she gazed toward the window. Did it work? I did hear about drinking cola when you have a heat stroke, so in that regard it did make sense, I guess. Who knows? It's not poison anyway, so then it's not as bad as some other sweet drinks. It doesn't matter if it works, it's just a habit. Just like some need to pray before a meal, or some only smoke a certain brand of cigarette. When a behavior becomes a habit, it starts to take on another meaning and leads to many memories. Looking at the side of her face, deep in thought, I realized even she had a sentimental side. Seeing that I'd gotten better, she walked towards me with the rope. Your hands. You will need to tie me up. I can't escape like this. This or this. Take your pick. She motioned it to the rope in her left hand, then the knife on the right. Was ist für eine Frage? Na gut, ich nehme wohl das Seil. Just please be more gentle. She nimbly bound my hands. My wounds burned up upon contact with the rope's rough surface. The bread she brought back for lunch was a classic scallion bread with pork floss. The long absent flavor spread in my mouth and made this meal a feast after days of nothing but nutritive biscuits. Ja, das frage ich mich auch, aber ich wollte es nicht wählen dafür. Das frage ich mich auch. Hätte es einfach abgestochen sofort. In contrast to me wolfing down the bread, she showed no appetite next to the window. What was she thinking about? I decided to focus on the bread before me since I just recovered from illness. You bought so many flavors this time. How come? Seeing all the flavors in the bag, I was confused by her generosity. Wahrscheinlich hat sie sich dein Geld genommen, huh? The leftovers, they were gonna throw them out anyway. She coldly turned her head and drowned with distaste. I hate those fancy shops that take pride in their quality. I'd rather throw out bread than give it to those in need. Sehr wahr, sehr wahr. Do you know what they say? If we gave the leftovers to others, the original customers would never buy them. All for such a petty reason. She mockingly laughed, despising the self-proclaimed fancy shops. From their point of view, they do have a point. Ja, die meisten Leute wollen aber auch keine abgelaufenen Sachen haben unbedingt. Also. Naja, okay, es geht ja natürlich um, vielleicht jetzt nicht um solche Sachen, sondern eher um Sachen aus der Bäckerei oder sowas halt, ne? Also Sachen, die explizit für einen Tag frisch gemacht werden oder am Ende des Tages weg müssen. It might be hard to understand, just like people not getting why others would pay thousands of Taiwan dollars for a steak or much more of a pair of headphones. For most people, food is just to relieve hunger. For some people, however, it was a pursuit of the ultimate sensation of taste. Time does affect the bread's texture. The store needs to maintain the quality for their reputation. Ja, eben. Und deswegen können sie doch die Sachen, die schlechter sind, die so schlecht sind, dass sie nicht mehr verkaufen können, anderen Leuten geben. Umsonst. Oder zumindest sehr, sehr günstig. If the shop cut the price when there was some left over, the people would only come right before closing. Ja, nein, aber dann ist da... Was? Dann ist ja die Qualität schlechter. Also sie können doch das für günstiger verkaufen, wenn die Qualität schlechter wird. Dann würde es doch einen Grund geben, es trotzdem teuer zu kaufen. Für Leute, die jetzt kein vertrocknetes Brot wollen oder so. I mean... I don't get it. I don't get it. The shop needs to make a profit, so it's only natural for them to... Only natural? Didn't I just say it? It's not a matter of throwing it away or not, but the mentality of the customers would impact That's what pisses me off. What quality, what reputation? Some brand reputation is more important than starving people. Does nothing matter besides the money? That's natural to you? Her staring eyes were burning with fire, like those that had seen the worst of humanity and were overflowing with rage. Ich bin immer noch sehr verwirrt über diese Zooms, aber na gut. Ja, genau. Also das ist ja... Ah, Gott. Warum erinnerst du nichts daran? Geh doch einfach hin und mach Kapitalismus weg. Aber ja, das ist natürlich richtig. Das ist natürlich auch die bessere Option, die deutlich bessere Option. Müsste halt in jedem Geschäft passieren, ne? Das wäre vernünftig. Sowas in die Richtung halt zumindest. I had issues with her whining attitude. Even if one couldn't choose one's upbringing, complaining wouldn't make it better. If the game's rules couldn't be changed, then why not try to play by the rules first, then change them when you could do it, so. Und es wird natürlich besser langsam, also es wird natürlich immer mehr, die sowas in die Richtung machen, die irgendwie altes Essen weggeben, statt es wegzuschmeißen. Und seien wir realistisch, der Grund dafür ist nicht, dass sie jetzt auf die Idee kommen oder so, sondern für ihren Ruf, dass das vielleicht, ne, sich eigentlich gut macht. Zu sagen, wir spenden Sachen, statt sie wegzuschmeißen. Wir sind ein gutes Geschäft. Ja, wir sind gute Menschen. Ich meine, das ist nicht schlecht, ist trotzdem besser, als wenn sie es wegschmeißen würden, aber seien wir realistisch, das ist trotzdem der Hauptgrund wahrscheinlich im meisten Fall. There was always the option to just slit your throat, hang yourself or jump off a building, hoping it would be better next time. It's a better alternative than whining all day long. Yes, I can only change with my own hands. Surprisingly, there was no rebuttal, just a mysterious smile on a darkened face. I'd gone through beatings and threats, but a smile right there scared me more than ever. Ja, deswegen hat sie dich kidnappt, ne? Weil sie die Sachen nur mit ihren eigenen Händen ändern kann. The girl was looking outside the window with the cigarette. She was always extra quiet when smoking, like it was some serious ritual. In a room only a few square feet in size, two people with opposite backgrounds quietly sat preoccupied with their own thoughts. How old was she? What happened? Why was she doing this? I thought I didn't care, but the more time we spent together, the more I realized how different she was from my imagination. The criminals in the news all looked evil and inhumane. It was hard to imagine they might have these stories too. The things they like, the things they hate, the people they cherish, their worries, their thoughts. There was a sentence from a book. Everyone tries to live better. No one would think of him or herself as being irrational or crazy. If you felt that way, that meant you didn't know that person well enough. I didn't try to understand them. The fast-paced modern society made it exhausting to take care of oneself, let alone others. We didn't care what others were like. Labeling them as good guy or bad guy was just that much easier. So what now? Sehr wahr, sehr wahr. Ich frage mich immer noch, ob wir überhaupt versuchen sollten, irgendwann mal zu fliehen, ne? Weil wir sammeln hier immer mehr Hinweise darüber, wo wir sind und was für Möglichkeiten hätten, um gegebenenfalls vielleicht zu fliehen oder auch nicht. Aber ich versuch's ja gar nicht, ne? Ich versuch's ja einfach gar nicht erst. Ganz ehrlich gesagt. Ich will immer noch über das Poster reden gerne, ne? Aber das passiert wohl nicht. Erstmal kann ich dich irgendwas Spannendes fragen. Würde sie sagen, not your business? Do we know each other? Ist eine Frage, die ich schon länger stellen wollte. Fragen wir das zuerst. Who? The one calling you Big Sis. She'll be with me, of course. Heard some gangs would manipulate underage girls and make them into a lackey to avoid arrest. It had been only a few days, but it was clear that the little girl didn't know anything, only followed instructions from higher Big Sis. She even looked worried when I was sick. It was just cruel to ask a kid of that age to be the scapegoat. Does family know about this? Family? Können wir es endlich bitte revealen? She frowned upon my question. There was some sort of communication barrier, as something seemed to miss. She has a family, right? Or did they abandon her? I am her family. I couldn't make sense of it at that moment and just froze there, forgetting about what she had even just said. Didn't she call me Big Sis? Haben wir mal gesagt, ne? Wait, so you are really her sister? Like, sister? What else could I be? Es könnte vieles sein. Ich war mir auch nicht sicher. Warum seid ihr alle so verwirrend? She impatiently crossed her arms and crossed her chest and asked matter-of-factly, so... Thought she must be like her boss or maybe some surrogate sister. But if that was the case, then her faith in Big Sis would make sense. They're blood relative after all. Nothing, just that you don't look alike. Is that so? Oh. She suspiciously looked at me and burst into laughter upon realization. She saw through me. You thought she was like my lackey and I would send her to jail in my place once I get the money? She was smiling, but there was no warmth in her expression. Are you kidding me? I take responsibility of my own actions. Like you people that grab all the goodies and stuff others with shit. I just think your little sister's a good kid and would rather she doesn't get involved. Oh, so you actually care about us? She replied absent-mindedly, as though not believing one word I'd said. Ja, ich glaube, er kümmert sich mehr um deine Schwester als um dich. Das kann ich endlich mal Schwester sagen, ne? Weil ich es jetzt weiß. So, ich will jetzt gerne fragen, ob wir uns kennen. Ich denke mal halt nicht. Do we know each other? No way. Our lives have nothing to do with yours. Hearing my question, she sounded mockingly. Really? Somehow I think I've seen you before. You know, is this and I was, she tilted her head and started thinking. Maybe in the shop. No, that's impossible. Maybe you've seen me on the news, on the police station, huh? Her smile seemed to sharply cut me. Her pointed words made it hard to get too close. Then why me? Huh. Still thinking about that? She said impatiently. She waved her hand to indicate she'd lost interest in this exchange. You're just filthy rich and you live by yourself. Can you think of a better target? Or you think there was some backstory? Just blame yourself for being too careless and your dad for being too rich. Ich frage mich trotzdem noch, ob es eine Backstory gibt. Oder ob sie das nur sagen, um zu sagen, naja, um damit auszusagen dann am Ende. Ja, manchmal gibt es einfach keinen Grund, ne? Manchmal ist es halt einfach so, wie es ist. Es muss nicht immer eine tiefe Backstory geben, die alle Charaktere verbindet. I was still uncertain if the culprit was someone I knew. The fact she knew this much about my household was just bizarre. That question aside, didn't she just mention a shop? She had worked in a shop. What kind of shop? Ja, aber sie weiß es wohl offensichtlich nicht. Also zumindest, ja, ich behaupte mal, dass sie nicht lügt. Ich denke mal, sie erinnert sich wirklich nicht daran, wenn wir uns irgendwie kennen. Kann ich mir die Uhr schon angucken? Ja, ne? Closer look reveals that the clock is not even moving. Oh, okay. Ja. Hast du nicht mal eine andere Uhrzeit gesagt, die auf der Uhr stand? Ich erinnere mich ganz vage daran, aber ja. For my time estimates are pointless now. Who knows how much time has passed? Even though I don't know the time, at least I'm not misguided by the wrong information. Immerhin. Na, immerhin. Finally, the girl put down the phone and loosened her tense brow, along with a sigh of relief. What's up? Lucky for you, things have worked out. Your dad will pay tomorrow. Wird er? For real? Duh, would I lie to you? She seemed to be in a rather good mood since all I got was since all I got was just a look rather than a solid flying kick. Say but nothing will happen to you. So you will let me go. Who knows? She doesn't have any funny ideas and wait patiently until tomorrow. Oh, Nase juckt. Ja, no. It went differently than I expected. According to my understanding of my father, he would have tried to buy more time and to let the police track the kidnappers down. Yet instead, he conceded rather easily. Did he really plan to just pay up? Knowing him, he wouldn't believe the kidnappers' claim so easily. He must have a plan. Ja, das Gefühl habe ich halt auch, ne? Vor allem, wie gesagt, ich habe euch jetzt ja schon gespoilert, es gibt 7 Tage wohl, wahrscheinlich. Wahrscheinlich. I didn't know what he had in mind, which was a sad realization of how distant our relationship was. Why do you look so pissed? Did your brain burn out? She asked with a little surprise after seeing me not saying anything with a loud pat. As if... I responded vaguely. While I didn't think things would go this smoothly, I had no intention to tell my kidnapper that. Without noticing my concern, she mumbled before opening a can of soda next to the window. She leaned back against the wall and let out a long, tired sigh. She clearly didn't have it better than me. Outside of preventing me from escaping, she also had to worry about the police and negotiation process with my family. It might seem like it'd be over soon, but the key event was tomorrow. Would they really pay as promised? Could it just be a means to buy time? They always say parents will pay any amount of money for their children's safety. Don't make me laugh. We're not a normal family. Nothing could be done with this broken excuse of a relationship. Despite telling myself not to have any hope, I still wished for them to pay up. It's called a self-contradiction even I couldn't really explain. My head started to ache again while pondering it. I tried to rest against the wall, but also the thoughts stuck in my mind. Be a good boy at home, okay? Liar. Ich weiß es nicht. So what's with your mother? Huh? It's come out of nowhere. Why is there no contact at all from your mother? She's right here in Taiwan, but refused to show up after her own son is kidnapped. That's strange. Maybe she's busy. All the unpleasant memories came to mind, making me try to change the subject reflexively. Are you kidding me? She raised her eyebrow, clearly not pleased with this answer. In retrospect, it was really a convincing answer, but I still didn't intend to say more than that. Why do you care about my family? Are you an arranged marriage agent? If you let me go, I can give you my number. Maybe we... Stopped right in the middle of the sentence. It was only my voice throughout the conversation. She would normally have interrupted me by now. A strange silence spread across the room. I lifted my gaze and looked into her black eyes, realizing I sucked at hiding my thoughts. You really talk a lot when it is about things you don't want to answer. Is that some rich boy habit? Ja, wollen schnell ablenken, ne? Von dem eigentlichen Thema, habe es jetzt direkt bemerkt. Expected to notice such details, so I acknowledged her sharp observation with a bitter smile. Didn't you figure me all out already? You should know our relationship was bad. All I care about is if you have money. Your relationship is none of my business. Why now then? I responded casually, but couldn't help but wonder about the intention behind the question. Sheer curiosity? I felt it wasn't that simple. I just want to hear from you what's wrong with your mom. Even Mr. Ken said it was pointless to contact her. Mr. Ken? I know her name. Never mind, so you're gonna talk or not? Wer ist Mr. Ken? Seeing her impatiently brushing her hair, I allowed my head to ponder how to respond. Ist er derjenige, der sie dazu gebracht hat, das hier zu tun? Wie gesagt, vielleicht sind es Loan Sharks und vielleicht haben sie ihr gesagt, dass sie uns kidnappen soll und versuchen soll, das Geld zusammenzubekommen, weil sie es offensichtlich nicht anderweitig zusammenbekommen hätte. What? She your stepmother or your father's mistress? So, pondering, she started to guess randomly and managed to get pretty close to the truth. Something like that, just the roles are reversed. Huh? In the end, I decided to go with the easiest explanation. My mom had another man. Wasn't really something I couldn't talk about, but it just triggered lots of unhappy memories. Since I was a kid, she often went out with someone, but I didn't know where to and what for. It sometimes would take her a whole week before she came home. Even the housekeeper couldn't give me a direct answer. My mom was having an affair. There'd be no way for me to tell the 10-year-old that either. Oh. She supported her head with a smile on her face, which looked more like gloating than sympathy. You guys are strange, always doing these sorts of things. Affair, inheritance fight. Don't you have better things to do? Sehr, sehr gute Frage, aber offensichtlich ja nicht, ne? Das war ja eine Sache, die wir angesprochen haben. Wenn man reich ist und alles für einen erledigt wird, dann hat man wohl nichts mehr Besseres mehr zu tun als das. Not expecting me to answer, she started to talk herself and laughed, as though hoping to balance things out by hearing of others' misfortune. What a poor man your dad is, making all the money abroad just to raise a woman for another man. He knows. He knows, I said casually and saw her staring at me dumbfounded. Yeah, he knew about my mother's affair. Cool story, right? Are you an idiot? I am. I have a sense of humor. But didn't they divorce? Did you forgive her? Or maybe your mother has the money? She ignored my joke and kept prying. After confirming the ransom payment, she'd become a lot more talkative. Who knows? I don't care, nor do I want to figure it out. I like it this way and I can't do anything about it. I actually asked about that just once. I could never forget his reaction back then. Haben wir auch ein Bild von dem Vater? Na, haben wir nicht, wir haben nur ein Bild vom Wohnzimmer. I angrily told him about mother's affair, and the hand touching me tensed up immediately. Yet the shock only stayed on his face momentarily before being replaced by another emotion, some sense of relief. He softly rubbed my hand and told me mommy didn't have an affair. I simply misunderstood. Misunderstood. No explanation, just one single word. With the company increasing in size, he spent more and more time abroad. Never did he ask of mother's whereabouts, nor confront her as though nothing happened. Why didn't he ask her? Why didn't they divorce? Why feign ignorance? I couldn't ask anything, seeing a soft smile, and the unanswered questions became the gap between us. It got wider over time until it became an unfixable distance. Maybe he has a mistress too. The marriage was just a ruse. Maybe, I wouldn't be surprised. Does your dad still love her? After staying silent for a while, she eventually asked. I don't know. At least I couldn't. Stimmt, das wäre natürlich eine Lösung. Das wäre natürlich eine Antwort, aber ich weiß nicht, was das ist. Vielleicht war ihm das lieber als das schlechte Gewissen, was er gehabt hätte, dadurch, dass er immer im Ausland war, von der Arbeit aus. Und ja, dass er sich halt keine Zeit für seine Frau genommen hat. Das war eine Erleichterung vielleicht deswegen für ihn. Und deswegen ist es ihm egal. I don't know. Weniger Arbeit für ihn, sag ich mal. I didn't say the second part and didn't matter what the answer was. I deleted her phone number the day and I moved out during high school, keeping minimal contact with my family. Since money came in every month, meeting up or not didn't matter. Maybe she knew that we already found out about it. No, maybe she wanted us to find out. In retrospect too many things didn't make sense. Happy wife, happy life, ja. Keine Ahnung, vielleicht war es ihm dann halt einfach wichtiger, die Appearances zu keepen. Dass er halt eine Frau hat und eine Familie hat und bla bla bla. Das war ihm vielleicht wichtiger, als dass seine Frau ihn auch wirklich liebt und sowas. Unbelievable as it was, it did explain many things. To force him to propose divorce, testing his reaction. Regardless of the motive, there was no argument or confrontation as I expected, just the status quo. Maybe she wanted to get alimony by forcing her dad to divorce. No one would openly have an affair to get alimony. No judge would be so stupid. She tried to find an explanation with a darkened expression. Save it, you won't find an answer. They've been like this for years. They at least tried to hide it from me when I was young. No, they don't even bother. The one who was on the plane, she was already on her way to spend the night with another man. Just needed to play a good wife when he came home, as though nothing happened. It was like an adult version of playing house. The curtain raised and everyone played their arranged parts. You're the dad working abroad, you're the mom taking care of the house, you're the kid that needs to go to school. You all knew it was fake, but no one would spell it out. I kept thinking that if my dad's company wasn't that big, my family wasn't that rich, maybe things could have been different. Oh, du armer reicher Junge. You think things would be different without the money? I mean, sie wären anders. Why is it so difficult to just openly discuss this? Do you really have to make it more complicated? Seeing every reaction, I somehow felt a little reassured. Finally confirmed I, myself, wasn't abnormal, but that my family relationship was abnormal. Things wouldn't go away if you pretended you didn't see them. That was just lying to yourself. Make things clear and break up if there is no love. Don't keep perpetuating a lie if you don't want to be together. How simple is that? Who knows? They like it that way. I didn't want to argue with her. The world is too complicated. Too many people, too many things that will take a lifetime to understand. Why do they do that? Why does society function like this? Why can't one ever be satisfied? I don't know. If there's no answer, then you just accept it. Reality wouldn't change just because you don't agree with it or because you know the cause. Don't know? Are you nuts? She waved her hand impatiently as though nothing I said was worth a dime. Why don't you figure it out if you find it strange? Are you some soap opera protagonist? You don't get it, even if I... You're the one who doesn't get it. Properly interrupting me, she coldly responded. You know how lucky you are. You know how many people envy you. Just keep saying you can't do it. How many people want to be like you? And yet here you are telling me I wish I had less money. So forget the self-pity. You are lucky, rich boy. Du kannst das Geld weggeben, du kannst Geld anderen Leuten geben. Du hast weniger Geld. Smart, oder? Smart. If you want to escape from even this type of problem, you may as well just die. It was usual, but this time it seemed different. I could tell she was treating what I'd said seriously and was dumbfounded by that realization. I never told anyone about my family. I realized it wouldn't matter even if I did. Is that it? How come? Poor thing. The party's reactions were just exhausting. No one really cared, and then it became a random subject of chit-chat. It was like talking about disaster on social media. All the self-righteous comments were really just empty words on things that had nothing to do with you. All I did was notify others. Hey, I know about this. I have a heart. It's all meaningless. If you want to escape from even this type of problem, you may as well just die. But hearing that, I realized I was escaping. Feeling that atmosphere, feeling my parents, or into my own world, and never attempted to negotiate with them. What? Say something. Seeing me not saying anything, she stared at me coldly while brushing her messy hair. No, you're right. Aside, I actually felt much better despite my situation, remaining the same. She went silent, hoping to see if I was mocking her, or, being honest. She gently spat and turned her head away, seemingly more awkward than mad. Doesn't matter what you think, I won't be seeing you again after getting the money tomorrow. Good luck. She lit up a cigarette, the faint tobacco smell permeated the room along with the cool night air. If they did get the money tomorrow and everything just ended, that would be the best possible outcome. I shook my head and laughed at myself. Even I couldn't believe that. Life is fated to be a tragedy. We thus live in hope of a miracle. Recall that line. The air I breathed out turned into white smoke. Through it I saw the foggy moon outside of the window. Even if just once. I hoped a miracle would happen. Ich mag diesen Übergangsbildschirm sehr gerne, dass er immer kommt. 3 o'clock in the morning. He was falling asleep in the chair. She had woken up a few times in a fit of drowsiness. Even the energy drink didn't help much. Worrying she might really fall asleep, she decided to sit next to the door with the blanket. There was only one exit. He would have to go through here if he wanted to escape. Even triple-checking the ropes couldn't remove the unease. The image of him escaping came to her mind every time she closed her eyes. It would be all over in a few hours. There was a simple determination that kept her going till now. She'd imagined how she would pay off the debt multiple times, and now she could see the end of the line. She didn't know how to avoid arrest or what to do afterwards. She just had to believe that things would be different. Just a few more hours. The quiet sleep-talking echoed through the room. The girl secretly closed her eyes. Ja. Und morgen kommt eine Entscheidung. Morgen, ja, am nächsten Tag halt, ne? Kommt eine Entscheidung offensichtlich. Die Choice. Die alles verändern wird. I don't know, maybe not. Sehr interessant. Ich weiß wirklich nicht, was für Auswirkungen bisher die Entscheidungen so hatten. Also außer, dass wir halt irgendwie, wir hätten natürlich wahrscheinlich sterben können, wenn wir die ganze Zeit zu ihr gemein gewesen wären, wenn wir sie die ganze Zeit beleidigt hätten. Ich weiß nicht, wie viel mehr Fortschritt wir machen hätten können, im Sinne von, wenn wir immer gewählt hätten, dass wir gerne versuchen wollen zu fliehen. Ob wir da irgendwie darauf hinarbeiten hätten können. Das weiß ich noch nicht so ganz. Stream ich nächste Woche? Weiß ich noch nicht. Weiß ich tatsächlich noch nicht. Ich muss noch meine Hausarbeit schreiben. Muss bis Ende des Monats abgeben werden. Das Thema hatten wir schon mal, letzten Monat. Und ich habe es wieder ein bisschen prokrastiniert. Ich habe jetzt erst diese Woche wieder angefangen gehabt. Deswegen mal gucken, wie ich vorankomme, ne? Also ich möchte vor dem Wochenende fertig werden. Auf jeden Fall. Damit ich dann auch streamen kann, zum Beispiel. Aber wenn ich nicht fertig werde, dann werde ich am Wochenende weiterarbeiten oder werde ich wohl nicht streamen wahrscheinlich, ne? Das ist, kommt also drauf an. Und dann würden wir auf jeden Fall beim nächsten Mal, aber so oder so, ob es nächste Woche ist oder übernächste Woche, würden wir auf jeden Fall das Spiel zu Ende streamen. Ein Bad End, was wohl ist, wenn wir einfach unsere Stamina verlieren, gehe ich mal von aus. Und dann 5 Enden oder 6 Enden? 0 bis 5 sind 6 Enden, ja. Interesting, oh Gott, ja, keine Ahnung. Dann mal sehen, was wir für ein Ende bekommen werden. Und ja, danach werden wir wahrscheinlich, also muss ich einfach mal so sagen, wahrscheinlich auch Yumi Nikki streamen. Also das ist das, was in der Umfrage auf Platz 2 war. Yumi Nikki hätte ich nämlich sowieso gestreamt, früher oder später. Das hier hätte ich wahrscheinlich, wenn es jetzt nicht in der Umfrage gewesen wäre und wenn es nicht gewonnen hätte, hätte ich das wahrscheinlich einfach ignoriert für den Rest meines Lebens, dass ich es irgendwann mal gekauft habe. Yumi Nikki aber ist auf jeden Fall etwas, was ich auf jeden Fall immer mal spielen wollte und was ich auch mal spielen muss, weil das ist ein sehr einflussreiches RPG-Maker-Spiel, von dem ich immer wieder gute Sachen höre und dass da viele Sachen halt inspiriert sind, die ich auch gerne mag. Deswegen wollte ich das auf jeden Fall mal spielen. Das werden wir dann wahrscheinlich danach einfach spielen, sobald wir dann mit dem Spiel hier durch sind. Genau. Und wie gesagt, vielleicht kriegen wir beim nächsten Mal wieder mehr Spielevorschläge rein. Da muss ich nicht selbst meine Vorschläge reinpacken in die Umfrage, die nächste. Es tut mir wirklich leid, dass meine Spiele gewonnen haben, einfach mit Abstand. Ich habe das nicht absichtlich gemacht. Das waren nicht mal Spiele, von denen ich dachte, dass ich so viele Votes bekomme. Vor allem das hier. Niemand kennt dieses Spiel. Niemand kennt Light in the Dark, gehe ich von aus. Deswegen weiß ich gar nicht, warum das viele Stimmen bekommen hat. Aber ja, also das überrascht mich. Das war der Teil, also meinst du vom Stream, wie gesagt, entweder nächste oder übernächste Woche. So über den Rest. Ich muss gucken, ob ich nächste Woche streame. Darauf kommt es dann an. Aber der nächste Stream wird auf jeden Fall die zweite Hälfte sein. Ja, ich finde es auf jeden Fall auch interessant gestaltet. Ne? Es ist halt sehr ungewohnt, dass man wirklich sehr stationär platziert ist und davon aus die ganzen Dialoge einfach nur erlebt und sich halt versucht ein bisschen umzugucken und so und darüber sehr viel Storytelling hat. Und wie gesagt, dadurch, dass es nur ein Raum ist, kann man auch relativ viel gutes Environmental Storytelling ein bisschen eigentlich betreiben mit und guck mal, was dann noch mitkommt. Was dann da noch so kommt. Meine Stimme gibt auch langsam den Geist auf, wie man vielleicht merkt, ne? Lesen ist doch immer so schwer, so auf Dauer, ne? So einen ganzen Abend. Ja, vor allem, das geht ein bisschen in der Art und Weise, wie es sich erzählt, fast ein bisschen in die Richtung meiner Visual Novel, würde ich sagen. Das ist da relativ ähnlich. Ich meine, meine Visual Novel ist dialoglastiger und weniger beschreibungslastiger. Das Thema hatte ich schon mal. Ich bin nicht so gut im Beschreibungstext schreiben. Die sind immer sehr minimalistisch bei mir und das ist hauptsächlich Dialog tatsächlich an Text. Aber halt in der Art und Weise, wie es einfach sehr viel. Wir vertrauen uns nicht, aber wir reden trotzdem jetzt nach und nach einfach über unsere Backstory. So ein bisschen. Das ist so die Art von Storytelling, die meine Visual Novel hauptsächlich macht. Ich weiß auch nicht, wie gut es funktioniert. Ich bin mir noch unsicher. Habe aber jetzt auch gerade pausiert, weil ich jetzt die Hausarbeit schreibe. Mal gucken, ob ich nächsten Monat endlich mal fertig werde mit Schreiben. Wahrscheinlich. Wenn alles klappt, sollte ich nächsten Monat wirklich fertig werden. Es bleibt eigentlich nicht mehr viel. So, das soll es aber gewesen sein, wie gesagt. Vielen Dank fürs Zusehen. Und dann sehen wir uns hoffentlich beim nächsten Stream wieder. Mit mehr Light in the Dark. Ciao, 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 ciao.